All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 255 with Adsy. Adsy, how are we doing?
Dude, I'm doing very well, thank you. And yourself?
Pretty good. I was gonna say how are we doing this afternoon, but I realized it's like 2 in the morning for you. Shout out, the
Yes.
time zones.
Dude, it's what it takes to work with the Americans, like this. If I want to be all these things, then I gotta meet you where you are, not the other way around.
Until you
Um
get a little bigger. When you get a little bigger, then you can start pushing the demands. Like you wake up at 2 a.m. and I'd be like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll do it. Because that's the
yeah,
shit I would have to do like the first couple of years when I was getting Aussies on and stuff. I was like, all right, I'll wake up at 4 a.m. It's fine.
yeah, I've always been like this, I feel like anytime that you want something to happen, you just have to, do it by any means necessary, basically. Just like, okay, what
Yeah.
time works? I will literally meet you wherever you are.
You're an up and coming creator. You're a YouTuber and a Twitch streamer, looks like. And I got a little bit of a recommendation from my boy Uberu, who was like, yo, Adsy, kind of up and coming creators working on some big project. And he basically just like linked your channel last week and I just like clicked it. He's got like the charisma to just hold some energy, you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's some people that jump into the content creation scene. It's just like, I just want to play RuneScape. But then there's people that really take it a step further, like right from the get-go. And I feel like you're one of those creators that's putting in the time, pushing that extra bit of creativity that I feel like at first can be very difficult for creators to like find. And I feel like you're already really leaning into it. So big ups for everything I've seen so far by you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's something that I knew from a very long time ago that I wanted to do, and like basically I've just been positioning my life in a way where I could do it. So that I actually, fun fact, I don't think I spoke to you about this at all, but I started streaming like back when I was 18. But you still live at home, right? So you can't be who you want to be. You can't push. You don't actually know all that much. So, I remember I was streaming something or whatever else, and my stepdad opened the door. I was like, dude, can you shut the fuck up? I was like, man, I'm trying to stream right
Oh,
now.
God.
So the microphone that I use is actually from that time 10 years ago. So like I basically just got to the point of my life where I was like, oh, I could actually stream now and like everything would be normal and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And yes, like everything has been pretty intentional. I mean, there's a lot of like shortcomings and shit like that you don't really see along the way. And there are a lot of creators that just go live and say, well, fuck it, right? And they either get big and they do well or they don't, and they just do what they want to do. I mean, ultimately, I think intentional, like if you intentionally want to be a creator, you have to do what it takes, right? There's a lot of people that, yeah, sure, maybe it's luck, right? Maybe it's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't feel like it's good to devalue anything because there's always something you can learn from everyone, right? I basically I knew what I had to do to get where I wanted to go, and I knew that even if it doesn't work right away, like, seldom anything works the first time around, I will eventually get to where I want to go just because I'm putting in the effort. It's just not possible to lose.
Yeah.
Like I've never had any doubt.
It's really, I think one of the things that some people kind of lose sight of is just how much, like if you see a big creator, how much they have been doing it for, like how long they've been doing it for and how much they've really put into it, because you see literally anybody that's a household name now in the content creation sphere, it's just like they've been doing it for a decade. And you see their old stuff, like let's just say they're a YouTuber, go back and watch their old videos. They got like 1,000 views, they're pure shit, and it's just they kept chipping away at it. Like they kept going day after day after day after day and just like putting out stuff, and you just get more and more experience. And I think a lot of people will lose sight on that, of just how long this kind of stuff takes to get your name out there.
Most people quit, before they even get started. When you think
Yeah,
about it.
dude, it's such a common thing too. I mean, speaking from experience, when I first got into content creation, the first year, the first 3 months, I was averaging 3 viewers on Twitch, literally for 3 months. I mean, that was my average views, like 3.4 or something. And I was streaming full time. I literally was doing 40 hours a week. And I had no idea what I was doing. I should have probably jumped into YouTube or something, or tried to build some sort of audience a little bit better. But yeah, anybody would have fucking quit by that point. Like, I just feels like, come on, like you're really gonna keep this up like 3 months and you're this far. And then even after a year, I remember like suffering with internet issues every single day because the internet structure was just horrible. It just cut out randomly all the time. And there was just so many little hurdles that you just had to like overcome. And there was always these lows where it's like, wow, my stream isn't growing, or like other things aren't growing. It's not looking good. And you just gotta keep pushing through it. But at the same time, I was in a very privileged position, and a very like lucky position to like not have to take care of kids or take care of a relationship or anything else. It was just like just me. If I go homeless, it's not the end of the world, and just like move back with my parents. Like if everything just like hit, you know, shit hit the fan, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. And there's just so many people that aren't lucky enough to be in a position like that, to like really be able to risk so much more. So that's like where the real challenge lies, I think, with getting into content creation.
100%. I mean, like, people don't think about it in a long enough time span. You know, you're not thinking about people will go 6 months and be like, well, nothing happened, I guess I suck, and they just quit. But like, you look at everyone that spent the last 10 years working towards their content. Like I spoke to PJ, and I asked him, because I wanted to know a little bit about retention and long videos and stuff like that, because this one's a bit longer. And he was, I remember, I don't remember if he brought it up on Twitch or if he brought it up on Discord, but he said, dude, the first Hob Tuesday got like 500 views. And he just kept like grinding at it, right? But now it's like one of the biggest series in the space.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if you're thinking about those long kind of like time frames, like when I first started, I was working 40 hours a week, and I was putting in 40 hours. I think it was like 45 hours of stream, right? So for the first like 8 months or something like that, before like I actually hit my physical wall, where I was like, I can't fucking do this at this level anymore, because it's just not worth the return, you know, at a certain point. But it doesn't mean that like you just reevaluate. It's like, how do I maximize my time and my effort to get the result that I want, right? Because I've got to tell you right now, anyone that's considering being a Twitch streamer, it doesn't happen there often. You've got to do a whole bunch of different shit to get started and get stuck in and find any level of success. If you have a big ego, don't do that. It will be ripped out very quickly, I can promise you.
Yeah, I feel like you can't take yourself too seriously. That's like the way to do any version of content creation. Like why take yourself seriously? Just have fun.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, like what I've tried to do is just try a whole bunch. Like, for example, right, when the first video I ever did was just like, okay, how do I make, because I was trying to find an editor, because I work full time. So like, if I work full time and I stream full time, that's 2 full-time jobs. I don't think I can limit sleeping. I think I might just die. So like, what are the benefits, I guess, to kind of circle back, is like, you either have time or you have money. I have a little bit of money, so I could afford an editor. You know, if you don't have any money, then, you know, go acquire some editing tools and get stuck in. But, you know, for me, I had the benefit of like, okay, cool, we just got to find a really cool editor. So the very first video I did was just like, how do I make a video that's not that interesting, but like as a concept? Because I think the first one was like, when Zora was like 6.5 million an hour, I was like, okay, we'll just try this, and we'll just put it out there just as like as a test, right? And it's like, it did way better than I thought it would do. I don't know how much it's on right now, but it's like just under 3K or something like that. On my first ever video, it's like 3,000 views, which is like, you know, most people won't get 10. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, it's sitting at 3.2. And the next video, it was like, I remember I seeing a comment that spurred my next video, which was like, this easy boss is currently 6 mil an hour, which was my first one. The next one, because of a comment that said, well, it's good that you have gear that like makes it so 6 mil an hour doesn't even matter. And it's like, rah. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. That actually spurred on my next idea, which is you don't have to be rich to make millions. So I just bought the most budget shit I could possibly get with like cool weapons and stuff like that. Like, I think I used the Vergora's chain mace, the Fang, and the zombie axe, really cheap, and then just like rags, basically like black D hide. And I showed how much you could make with these. It was still too expensive for some people, so I was like, oh well, fuck, you can't please everyone, what can you do? But that one is actually my best one at the moment, so that's really cool. But then after doing it a little bit, I got Grandmaster, and I really wanted to make like, you know, something really big and cool and stuff like that. And that's It's such a big project, dude. It's so insane.
What was the whole idea behind it? Because it really is like talking about CAs, talking about Grandmaster. I'm pretty sure the title is something about what is it like to be a Grandmaster, basically, something like that. Let's get into that.
So the big thing that kind of spurred it on was like I was looking for my next content idea after my most recent one. I just got Grandmaster, and I thought, okay, yeah, cool, I'll make a Grandmaster video. And I sort of sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, well, how do I make it interesting? Because I could just have like a whole bunch of like Twitch clips. Here's me killing this boss, and then I got this one, and all this other shit. That's like, thinking. I thought, well, I'm kind of bored thinking about it. And I remember I was in Discord with a couple friends, and a lot of them are really fucking good at the game, like insane players, right? Really cool dudes, but insane. And they were like, "Hey man, like really cool you get Grandmaster, but like it doesn't even fucking matter anymore." And I was like, "Oh damn, that sucks." I don't like get like bugged about that. I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, whatever." Like they, of course, some of the best people in the game aren't gonna care that someone else got like Grandmaster, right? But then I kind of thought about it. It's like, what would actually make it good, right? What would make it? Like, I think I asked them, and I said, well, if you could place me where you think the difficulty would be, where you think Grandmaster difficulty should be, where would you place me on the actual tier list? And they said, oh, Master, easily, like every day of the week. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So I kind of thought about it, and I sat there and I said, well, what if I had like a whole bunch of creators jump on, and talk about it. Who would those creators be? Do I just find any Grandmaster that I could possibly find, or do I be very selective? And I realized I should probably be pretty selective. So I actually picked everyone in the video. They were all my first choice and my only choice. I think that's a really good position to sort of, kind of position yourself in, where it's like, well, I want this person, and this is why I want this person, and literally nobody else will suffice. I got offered, it was like, oh, well, you should get this guy, you should get that guy, or, thing. And it's like, well, then it's just going to get bloated, and it's just not going to be as good as the vision could be. So I basically wanted to get a whole bunch of creators. Some of the, like, are relatively unknown, right? So, like, how does somebody that, is relatively new to the space, relatively unknown, convince these, like, giants to jump on a video? That's... that is a hard question to answer, but we managed to do it purely based on like if just being as genuine and as upfront as possible. The first one that I got to say yes was No Monkey. I actually asked Brett Dog to help vouch for me. It's like, I don't think I have enough to I don't have enough to convince Noam to read my message and take me seriously. So I asked Brett to kind of vouch, and he's like,
listen, I'm just gonna step in here and say right now, like the old school community themselves, like it feels like there is this sort of pressure of like, man, like I gotta do so much convincing. The old school community is so fucking willing, I feel like, to just be a part of somebody else's project, even if they are an up and coming creator. Now, again, it's not gonna be just anybody, but I feel like if they see, okay, you have a YouTube channel, there's some great videos that have done pretty well for a small channel, like it's just so easy to be like, yeah, like I'll jump in and help you out, because like everybody, it feels like, had been in that position of being a smaller creator. So it isn't like, and I feel like now know, I mean, the fact that you just had some names and they all said yes, I mean, it's just like, it's not the hardest sell, but I think that can get through a lot of creators' heads of like, I need to get these people on. It's just gonna be too hard. Like they're gonna say no, or they're just gonna ignore. I feel like people in the old school scene are very kind and very like just generous with their time.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think there is one caveat to it though. Like the one thing I learned from like, sales and marketing and everything else is that, your first impression is the lasting impression, right? So if I would have, instead of, approach like, going with my best foot forward, really thinking about what I want to send to them, how I want to send it, how I want to approach it, and how I want to sell it, every interaction after that is going to have that first interaction where it's like, yeah, sure. Like, I'm sure if I get bigger and stuff like that, then it would become like a no-brainer, right? But on the other side of that, if I come in like some kind of screaming super fan and says, well, I really want you in the video. Why? Because it's just not enough,
It's true.
Like it's all subject to a good idea. So it's like, the idea doesn't have to be groundbreaking, right? I can't remember exactly what I said to everybody, but it wasn't like, it was like 2 paragraphs. And I said, here's what I want to do. Here's why I want you. Here's my qualifications. And here's some references if you want to see what I'm currently doing and stuff like that. And that was enough. I know that we spoke about it before we started, but one of my favorites was with Wazzy, where he was just like, man, after we wrapped up, he was just like, I'm so glad you're normal because I didn't actually really know who you were. So it's like you just messaged me like I had a really good pitch. That was it. It was just a really good pitch. And I just sent him through the final version today with his bits and stuff like that, and he was so impressed. So it's not just about getting there, but it's the payoff as well. It's like the after. Hey, I want you to be represented well. I want you to I want you to be glad, be happy to put your name on it after the fact, right? I want you to tell me if it can't be there, if something's wrong, if something needs to change. Like, you're in charge, and I have to keep my word on that. As soon as it's like, oh well, I don't really like this part of the video or whatever else, and if someone's ill represented or not exactly how they want to be represented, it's like I don't know what it looks like, but I'm pretty sure it's career suicide. Because even if the video does poorly, even if nobody watches it, at the very least, if anyone asks what it's like to work with Adsy, they can say it was a really good experience. He kept his word. Everything was extremely professional and timely as much as is humanly possible. And that should be the gold standard, no matter what. As long as everybody that was involved feels like they were represented well, and feels like they got a good deal. Even though there was there's no money being exchanged, right? Between creators, but everyone should feel like they're getting a good deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. No, that's like the real nice. That's what's nice about collaborative work, like in the creative scene, is like it should benefit both parties. And so let's take a little dive into what exactly you brought these creators on to talk about, because it is more of a sort of podcast style kind of interview. You're kind of interviewing them. What are you exactly asking them, and how did the whole format kind of get laid out by the end?
So to be quite honest with you, I had a rough idea about how I wanted it to look, but I didn't actually know what it would look like in practice. So it's in my mind, it's like nothing that exists currently, and at least in the way it's formatted. If you broke it up into the individual creators, it would definitely just fit more into a podcast, but it's not that. It's like partly that. I'm basically trying to tell a story. So yeah, the reason I got on, okay, we'll use No Monkey as the example, right? So like when I picked who I wanted on the video, I wanted them on for a very specific reason. No Monkey, he's a Grandmaster. He's very controversial in his opinions, right? Like his name holds a lot of weight, his opinions hold a lot of weight. And whether you think he's right or whether you think he's wrong, he has a direction that he feels the game should go in. And he's, even if I think he's wrong, for example, I like the spade, okay? I like the spade. I don't care about snake grass. And his takes on that. He does make a good argument, You don't want it. It's like a slippery slope. But I think the spade would have been cool. But yeah, I wanted him on because I knew that he has an idea of what it should be. And I feel like as someone that, always is sort of speaking about what's good in the game, what's bad in the game, and stuff like that. I feel like his takes would be really good. I think the message he sent me, I'm not going to quote him verbatim because I don't actually. Oh, actually, no, it's not actually that far up. He said something along the lines of, my take on CAs. He says he has a much more negative take than most people have on CAs. So as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, That's kind of good because it's controversial. If everyone that I brought on said I think they're great, it doesn't make for like a good video. It's like, oh, okay, well then maybe my question's wrong. But no, when I had No Monkey on, he was really good. We had a great conversation. I think that he has a lot of cool ideas, but you have to wait to see what he said. Was he?
But it's mainly talking about CAs, correct? Like, do you talk
Yes.
about more about the game, or is it mainly just in regards to Grandmaster?
Yes. Mainly in regards to Grandmaster. We did deviate a little bit, as things naturally do, in some areas, but I can't remember exactly what's included. But yes, no, it's mostly about CAs, what we think about them, etc. And if we think they're good, if we think they're bad, what different ideas we have for the game, how they could be changed. There was a lot of talk about some of the outliers, like Toa 8-man and like Whisperer speed time, especially for Ironman.
Yeah.
Which was always good. You just see Ironman get a shadow like, if I could actually play the game now, let's go.
Yes.
And that's one of the things. Like Wazzy, right? He's a RuneScape 3 Grandmaster and like a regular Grandmaster. So I think he's the second person in the world to ever do that. Who cares about the first guy, right? No, Wazzy was really good, and Wazzy was really good, and he has a lot of good takes and stuff like that. Around that, when he messaged me today, and he was like, "Man, this is." He said the production quality is 11 out of 10, so that was pretty cool. We had Lake. This was pre-Death Lake at Yama, so we actually spoke.
Oh, so you've been working on this for a while.
6 months, man. Yeah,
Jesus.
6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
I did not realize that.
It was pre-death Yama, so like we actually spoke about Yama CAs and his thoughts around it before he died. I can't remember exactly what we said, but yeah, we had a really nice cinematic death tribute for him in there. I don't think he's commented on it yet, but he said that he will check it out. So that's cool. But yeah, 6 months. I don't think I'm ever going to, unless this video makes me settled too, and I think that is the only qualifying factor. If I become settled too, then I'll do another one. Okay, I'm in no fucking rush.
Did you anticipate this video to take so long? Because it feels like you're about to get it up though, right? Now it's been 6 months.
We only need a thumbnail, which we're getting the skull to work on. We could have done it ourselves, but if you're putting your best foot forward, right? You get one of the best of the business. So that was one of my thought processes behind it. Plus, it saves some time for the editor, right? So we can actually get it to the line. As soon as we agree to do this, I was like, all right, crunch time, man. Come on, we got to go. Like,
yeah.
And normally I'm quite lax, like I don't do crunch, but yeah, I did not know it was going to take this long. I had zero respect for the difficulty of what I was getting myself into, and fuck, have I grown because of it. The thing I think about, especially from a content creator's perspective, right? If you just look at if you ignore the fact that you're making something really cool and you look at it from a metric standpoint, you're like, man, if I would have just done like 6 months of slop, would I have gotten a better result or a worse result? Like, but I feel like I'm happy with how long it took, and I'm proud of what I was able to achieve. I'm like grateful that everyone got involved and everyone that's helped along the way has chosen to do so. And the biggest problem that I had was that it felt way bigger than me. And then there's all these things around like self-doubt. You're like, man, am I really the guy to talk about this? I mean, like, I'm not fucking like, Wooks or Port Kazard or anything like that. Like, there's all those like creeps, like all those thoughts that like creep into your mind as you're kind of going through it. Am I the authority? But you kind of just got to look past that and be like, yeah, no, well, I'm making it. So that makes me more qualified than anyone.
Yeah. No, that's the way to look at it. It's just like the imposter syndrome is inevitable. It feels like for so many people, unless you have a huge ego, then it's not. But
oh yeah, no. If your ego is huge, it's like I'm the only one that could ever make this, and no one will ever make it as good as me.
I mean, I hope it does well. I mean, I feel like genuinely there's something about the player or just the audience that the old school community has now. We're all like entering our 30s. I don't know how old you are. Do you mind sharing?
28, I think. I asked my partner.
I think.
I forget. Dude, I stopped counting, man. Like, I'm just like, do I really want to know? I think I'll count like 30, 40, 50, but that's about it.
I see. So you're still in your 20s. It could be early 20s, could be late 20s. Perfect. Yeah, you're somewhere in there.
I'm in
Yeah,
the
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I'm in the sweet spot, man. Like the between the zoomers and like the thing, I could still appreciate what RuneScape was. Like I was there, man. I was there when the
Yes.
scrolls were written, but
Yeah.
also,
You're
that
not too
zoom
ancient
mindset of
yet.
like, yeah. Oh, it's coming. I can feel it. It's coming.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling. It's strange looking at myself in the mirror and just saying like I'm a 30-year-old man. Like this is weird. Like it feels like when you enter your 20s, you still feel like a teenager, you know? And it's like when does that eventually fade away? And then I'm like, yeah, I think 30. I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, but I am, there's no part of me that's a kid anymore besides how I live my life. I guess I still live my life like a kid, but I mean, just looking at myself, I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's getting bad. But
Yeah,
yeah,
when I look in the mirror, I start seeing more and more of my old man, and I'm just like,
dude,
fuck, man. Like,
I have these uncles. Like the worst part is when I wake up in the morning, I don't have my contacts, and I very, very rarely will I put my glasses on, and I just have the strongest prescription ever. My eyes are shit, and so I look at myself in the mirror when hair is just kind of messy and greasy. Look at myself and I have some like baggy eyes, and I'm like, I actually look like my fucking like 50-year-old uncles. Like it's just like so bad. Like that resemblance of like, fuck, dude.
yeah, you can't beat genetics. Unlucky. What can you do?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel pretty confident in myself and how I look. I actually kind of like aging a little bit because it's kind of like a nice thing where you just like, it sucks being a kid. Like in some cases, like you can see like the lines on my face is experience. I mean, in my professional life, not many people like question like, dude, did you go to like college for this anymore or anything like that? It's more just
you're
as I
just
get
an adult
older,
now.
people just take you at your word if it's any good and how you
Yep.
present yourself and stuff like that, which is good. There's no like questions. There's no ageist biased, which is something that I suffered a lot of pretty early on. Because I feel like I was pretty switched on at like 18, 19, 20. I mean, I got my and I fucking worked hard for it. It wasn't given to me, just for the record, but I bought my first house at 22. So that's when I became an adult, where I was like, oh, fuck, I got a mortgage. We got really lucky.
Jesus
because
Christ, 22. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I dropped out of college. I was like, all right, time to start streaming at 23. So that's 22,
I mean,
having a house.
Well, it was actually 24, but we got the process started at 22 when I was 22. But it was during COVID, though, giving out a shitload of money. And
Were you married?
I read a whole...
Oh,
no.
You're saying were. You're saying like we are.
Yeah.
Are you saying...
Me and my partner. She was still at uni, though.
Okay. So you're just... Are you still with her?
Oh, yeah. No, we've been together 10 years.
Jesus
I could not do what I do without her. It's a really nice experience. Like, one of the things that I kind of thought about is how would my partner feel if I'm streaming, right? It's not like a cringe thing or whatever else. It's more just like, I'm going to be dedicating a lot of my free time to this in the pursuit of doing something, really cool, right? But how do I balance that with having a partner? But she's been very supportive. She helps me out like the whole way through. Sometimes when I'm streaming, she's bringing me food, which is really nice because between when I have to go to work and when I'm streaming and stuff like that, is like zero time in between. I could not ask for someone better. It makes a world of difference. If it was the other way around and it put like a strain, I don't think I could stream today. Like, because I just could not prioritize a video game over her. We've got so much, right? Like,
is she a gamer?
Very hard for. She plays video games. I don't know if I'd call her a gamer. She's
play
on
Scape?
Dude, she does not. She plays Infinity Nikki at the moment, which is like a Chinese gotcha game. But she likes the fact that makes the characters look pretty. So, it turns out that she likes the loot box thing, but she doesn't pay for anything. I don't know how she gets them, but she's on something. I don't know what's going on. She just plays so much that she doesn't have to like actually pay for anything. So yeah, we've actually just bought her a computer quite recently. And she plays a couple things like Stardew and whatever else. But every time I've suggested, hey, maybe give RuneScape a go, she's like, absolutely fucking not. Like, it's enough that you played it. We both play it. Nothing would ever get done. So I was like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough.
No, that's the dream though. Nothing's getting done. Just playing RuneScape full time. That's the dream. I was just to close that loop that I started with, just like we all are getting older. I think one of the cool things about producing what you're about to produce or like, release is just that kind of the long form content that I think it's not everybody, but I do feel like because people are getting older, they do have, either they're working from home or they're doing something and they don't just have, I don't know. I feel like people just want to click a video and just watch it for a couple hours. And this video that you're about to drop is over 2 hours, and it is just kind of like a longer form thing. And I think because the average like audience of like old school RuneScape content is getting to that older age, it just feels like people kind of crave that longer form content. So I think what you're doing, it's a good time to be doing it, because if you were trying to publish something like this 8 years ago, I just don't think people would have like the fucking capacity to like sit down and watch a 2 hour thing. So
yeah,
I think it's good timing.
That's one of the biggest concerns, right? It's like, how do you convince someone to sit down and convince them that your video is worth like 2 hours of their time, right? This is not YouTube and food time. This is like, it's like a movie, man. Like, and the things that kind of go through my head, and I'm sure it goes through your head as well, being in the long form game, right? It's like, is what I'm doing or my idea good enough that people could actively chop trees and not like think about it for 2 hours, right? Or mine a rock, which is like, a lot of people talk about it because it's like, well, PvM, fast, bang, bang, but there's a lot of times where eventually you got to buy the bullet and he's like, fuck, I have to chop trees for 20 hours because I need to do a quest, or, I need to, get my thieving up because I want to get more fucking grubs from the chest at Cox or whatever, right? Like, you're always going to need something. There's streamers that fit that bill, right? You could watch a big string of videos, but if you find something that's good and cool and something like I've sat down and just watched pods and stuff like that, while I'm raiding or whatever else, or whatever, it's like a really nice experience because this is one of those games. I think that we're very unique in that where we're not Fortnited, right? There's no Fortnitification of it. It's quite literally put the work in. You're not instantly getting. There's no instant gratification. Fuck, there's some days there's no gratification at all. You think I just raided for 10 hours.
There's no gratification, yeah.
Oh, shit, man. I spent the last 10 hours raiding and I didn't get a purple and I'm gonna fucking explode. But that's part of the game, right? Like, when you get that big payoff, it's good. But that big payoff takes time. Someone's got to do it, right? Someone's got to make the big videos.
Let me ask about your play style, because I feel like that's something we kind of skipped over. So, Adsy, you obviously have a lot of game experience. Let's just hear a little bit about like your accounts and like your play style. Are you a skiller, PvMer? How much have you PvM'd? Let's hear it.
So I've PvM'd a shitload, but only in a really short amount of time. So I'm definitely not a skiller. I'm skilling right now, but that's because I can't really, like, if I'm like, hold on, I'm just getting this clip, man. Like, let me just put Aka down or something like that. I'm spending some time maxing my account. So I recently GM'd. I have to re-GM with the Doomsayers, but maybe I'm doomed. I don't know. Like, as soon as I got it, dude, I'm in Unk status right now, man. Like, am I doomed? Like, but yeah, no, I did a whole bunch of raiding. But when I got Grandmaster, I kind of got a bit, burnt out because I'm like, fuck, man, I just like did this whole big push, and now it feels like there's not that much to do in terms of like PvM, right? So I actually started a hardcore, and I've actually kind of fallen in love with the Ironman game mode. Now, I originally thought that I'd get pretty bored of it. But I realized I was hooked when on a work meeting I got my rune scimitar from a fire giant, and I almost like I almost fucking screamed on it. So like I was like, yes, yes, like, and I was like, wait a minute, hang on. Like I did Wintertod for like I did Wintertod for 8 hours yesterday for 10 fucking magic logs, dude, and it happened, and it was cinema. I was a big fan of that. So I am good at PvM, I would say. I think so. I've done thousands of raids at this point. But a year ago, I was only just like learning how to do, maybe it's like a year and a half ago now, maybe closer. It's like from a year and a half to 2 years ago, I was just like a Warcraft bot, man. Like I would just like log on, like get some kill Warcraft for a bit. And it actually, it was like totally by accident. I think I was trying to go for some achievement diaries. And I got some help from some dude that helped me clear a Cox, my first Cox. So I could get the CA done. Not CA, sorry, the achievement diary. I think that's one of the last ones for Courand. And then that introduced me to a whole bunch of other people. And then I told them what I was doing, and they said, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like let's go do some raids." And I just got into the ecosystem there, built some foundational skills. I then started streaming, and then we did this whole like Inferno K Park, and that got me access to even better players. Because they were just like, oh yeah, well this guy sucks, but maybe we can turn him to something good. And then I just kind of went down that route, and then now I've done everything there is to basically do. I feel like I've been able to throw the ladder down. I've coached a couple friends through some CAs or help them with having at least one teammate that's not going to fuck it up, or coaching through their first Inferno Cape or whatever, right? I haven't really been playing the game the way I play it now for a very long time. Like I've only recently got into it, but now that I've kind of sped run that process, I've been playing the hardcore quite a lot. I should be playing it right now, but I'm kind of in the midst of recording my next video. It's like a hardcore progress, but like instead of starting at the start, I started at the mid game. That's basically it. It's like skip all the boring questing. We're getting these upgrades. How cool is that going to be? I've got the 4 or 5 things that we're going to start that out with. But yeah, it's Iron Man at the moment. Like I can't wait to raid on it. I can't wait to play on it.
It's so fucking addicting. I'm about 10 months into my account right now. My new Iron Man that I started last November. And I just got the Hydra leather, so my dude's like,
nice.
"Oh, it's just getting up there, It's got like I need a Navernic and an Ultor to like really pimp out." But God, when you get to that phase where you're just like hitting all these like end level Slayer bosses, it's just fucking addicting, dude. It's so good. It's so good.
Everything feels like worthwhile. Like you have to do every bit of content. You're like, okay, well, like Royal Titans is a goal right now. It's like, well, if I do Royal Titans, I get the prayer scrolls. But if I'm going to do Royal Titans, then I'm going to need a Berserker ring. And I'm also going to need to finish my Barrow's gloves. Oh, I need to finish Desert Treasure 2, Treasure Treasure 1 to get my Barrow's gloves for some fucking reason. I don't actually know why, but that's that's where we're currently at. And it's like, oh, I also need to get my Fire Cape and a whole bunch of other stuff, so that way it's worth it for me to do Royal Titans. I should probably also get my Zombie Axe. And there's that constant like thought process. Well, if I do this, but then I could also do this.
Yeah,
and then it's just,
never
like, the
ending
loop. And it's like, and then you finally get there, like, fuck, that was overkill. And then you're just like, all right, well, what's next after this? And it's a lot of fun. I think that, as someone that was, and I'm sure that a lot of people kind of get like this, right? Where they say, well, I don't really want to play an Ironman because I can't be fucked. It's going to be too hard or, boring or whatever, right?
Or like herb runs and birdhouses and stuff.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong.
It's
fucking lame. I'll just tell you right now. Like, you will not get that much satisfaction out of a run unless it's a full set of Renars and none of them fucking die. And you're like, yes! Oh, yeah. Snappy D's. That's
Oh, yeah. That's good.
If they die, then your fucking day is ruined. That's like a log out, thumbs down angle. It's like, for fuck's sake, man. Like,
when you are an Iron Man, though, there is a little bit more incentive. I feel like just that slight bit of like, oh, this actually kind of hit a dopamine receptor of like doing a full herb run and getting a bunch of herbs, because it's like you understand the importance of getting your herb lore up when you're an Iron Man. And so it's just like always a push. I feel like when you're a main account, doing any form of farm run just feels like shit, sort of. But there's something a little bit special about having a little stock of herbs and then actually just like having the little session of making all those potions, and the potions are actually useful for your account. I think if you can kind of lean into that, it takes a little bit of like just being able to lean into the farming aspect of Iron Man. But I think most people can enjoy it if they look at it from a different perspective of like this is gonna progress my account in like significant ways. Like getting to super combats just feels so fucking good.
Oh yeah, no. One of the big things I'm trying to work out what I want to do right now is with my Harrylanders. I was like, okay, I just got a whole bunch of Harrylanders from Moons. And I looked, okay, what potions could I make with this? And I can make an energy potion, which isn't that big anymore. Like I can make a goading potion, but like I don't really want to use those or get them. Or I can make a restore. Like the thing I think about is like that's the biggest pile of herbs I have right now, and I have no idea how I want to spend it. It's looking like a compost potion angle or an energy potion angle, and I just like never use them.
And you could save it for mixology.
That's the other thing that I was gonna say. It's like it could be a mixology angle, but I have no idea how to play that game. It's for fucking Ironman, but turns out I am one now, so I gotta figure out how to play it.
There's a lot of mixed thoughts on mixology. I mean, it feels like some people hate it, but I think as an Ironman, when you're first going for those first little rewards, like the goggles and the amulet, it's kind of nice. I think, personally.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I've done like a whole bunch of hard content, but like some of my favorite content, I know this is going to be a bit of a sore spot for you, so I apologize in advance. But like, Duke is something that I really enjoy. In fact, it was actually I was watching your stream when I learned how to do the bark
Slasher's
tech,
bark. Yeah,
Slasher's bark. And I was like, hang on, how the fuck did he do that? I remember asking, and I was like, dude, did you do that? You're like, I made a YouTube video. You can watch it on my channel. I'm like, all right, fuck yeah, let's go do that. And then I watched it. And now I got tiles that just say bark.
But now you don't even really need to do it because you just fucking prep 4 kills.
I refuse to change.
Legend.
No, but I actually really enjoy like really kind of simple grindable bosses because like at a certain point, like especially if you're like pet hunting, right, or whatever. It's like, do I really want to do like a whole bunch of like, as an example, say for example, you want to grind the gauntlet pet, and let's say you go stupidly over raid, and every kill is like fucking like 8 minutes or whatever it is, right? I can't actually remember. I don't do that much gauntlet. It's like that is a miserable experience versus like, well, I'm gonna kill Zora, and it's gonna take a minute, and I'm gonna like get X amount of kills, and I'm gonna come back like. If that is your goal, like, you want your bosses to be engaging, but not like tedious. You know what I mean? So like, really simple. Like I'm a big Musper fan. I like Duke. I like Whisperer. I like Vardorvis. Things like that. Like, short encounters, sweet, kind of engaging big drops. I kind of like things like Vorkarth as well, but that just gets a little bit. I've done like 1,000 of them or whatever else. I'm a bit over it now.
One of the things you'll start noticing on Ironman is how the bosses like Whisper and Vardorvis and Duke, for example, they're all like pretty nice and chill. And then you play on an Ironman where your gear is pure shit. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is genuinely a challenge. Like Vardorvis, when you have a fucking whip and some Moon's gear, and not even 99 strength, and your attack's like fucking level 80. It's just like, this shit's difficult. Like it's actually like it gets a little bit fucking annoying because like you're only getting 2 kill trips or whatever if you don't have a Blood Fury, and then it's like, and then you go into Whisper without Max Mage and a Shadow, and you're like, kid, this is genuinely taking fucking 4 minutes. Like what the fuck? And one of the fascinating things about the game is kind of seeing it from that different perspective. And I think once you get to that stage on your hardcore, if you get there, are you gonna continue as an Iron if you die?
So originally I was like, no, well, if I get to a certain point, then like I get my first mega rare, then I probably won't reset. But if I don't get it beforehand, I'll probably, if I get a mega rare, I won't reset. If I do get it, if I don't, then I will reset. But I've kind of been playing it for a little bit, and I've kind of in 2 sort of thoughts and modality. Well, actually 3. So 1, I actually really like the game mode. I'm enjoying it way more than I originally thought that I would. 2, I don't want to do any of that again. I followed the Bodhi guide for a little bit until like I fuck man. When Bodhi made me go like one of the big things of the stream was like this fucking Bodhi dude wants me to jump between these 2 spots at the fucking the Karamja agility course for this long. Oh man, like he sent me to the agility period. I was like, fucking Bodhi. And then eventually I got to the point where I was looking at the guide. I was like, oh, do this quest, do that quest, do this quest. It's like, wait, I'm strong enough to go do all these things. Let's fuck the guide off and just freeball it from now. So that's one of the things. I don't want to do any more of like max F stuff, even though it was really good. I don't really want to do it again. And I had a third point. I've forgotten it now. Yeah, I've remembered now. I thought about it and I'm like, okay, cool. I've started a hardcore. Do I want to be the streamer that only plays hardcore Iron Man? Probably not, because the game mode is. I'm just gonna say it. It's not fun when your whole inventory and like managing the game relies around your escape crystal. I think
yes, it's fucking horrible. Thank you. I'm
it's
glad you just admit that.
Yeah, it is a fucking. I fucking teleported out of DKs because I scratched my fucking nose or my ass or something like that, and that's. And then it's like, okay, it's not that bad because I have a main that can go in and just like make it safe for myself. But your crystal's on like 6 seconds or something like that, and then you're just like going in there. It is a miserable experience, and then you lose it, and it's 75k. Why the fuck is it 75k?
Shit should be free. It should just be fucking free.
To make it 10k or something like that, right? Make it so like I get punished for using it, but don't fucking like on an early game iron. And the thing is, when I was doing some of the CAs with like Tol, some of my friends, fucking bastards, were like, let's test the crystal. Like, no, it uses it, and that happened twice. So that minus 150k because my friends are idiots. I think the escape crystal, and I don't know. Obviously, it's a technical limitation, right? But I think the escape crystal would be better if it was like server side rather than client side. You know, so at the moment, it's. I'm pretty sure it's clients. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology. I'm sure somebody will be like, well, actually, it's. If it doesn't rely on my inputs, like if the game could tell when I don't have a direct connection and not be when I'm interacting with the client. I feel like the crystal would be a lot more enjoyable. Because at the moment, like, I can't just sit there and hit the boss. Because if I turn my crystal off and I AFK, I just lose my hardcore. Yeah. So I have to be, like, glued to my screen. Which is like, oh, well, you chose that game mode. Yes, that's true. I did do that. But it's... I would probably not like to do it again. Like, I feel like... I was in Wavy's stream. And he was talking about it, I'm pretty sure he just killed his hardcore just for memes. I don't know if that's exactly true, but he was like, oh, I don't really want to start another iron or whatever else, another hardcore, because I've already got a T-bow on it or whatever. Yeah, I totally get that. If my hardcore died, I think I'd be okay with it because I'd be like, thank fuck, I can actually play the game. And not have to worry about DCing or if I'm fucking touching my screen enough or whatever else. Like,
yeah, it's just it's exhausting. And on top of all that, like, for example, if you ever wanted to have a more enjoyable, if you wanted to do, let's just say, I don't know, Bandos, and you just wanted to melee it, like, if you're trying to prioritize your hardcore Iron Man status, you have to fucking eat up all the time. You can never just risk anything. You can't ever just be like, or you're on a Slayer task and you've ran out of prayer or something, and you're just like, I'm just gonna fucking risk it. If I die, it's like, whatever, I lose fucking 50k from my death's coffer. But on a hardcore, it's just like, nope, fucking don't take any risk whatsoever, ever. And the amount of times you can easily just get chanced several times and just dip. Like, as an Iron Man, it's fucking amazing. It's such a better experience, just being able to do stuff and just chance it. Like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking chance this. But on a hardcore, you have to be a little bitch every time. If you actually value it, if you want to get far, you have to play like a little bitch. And it's just like, it gets exhausting.
Yeah, it would be hard pressed. It would have to be. That's like the other thing, right? Because you've been in a group hardcore before. RIP to the big dogs.
Yeah.
Like, but that would be the only reason I would do it again. But even a group like Iron Man, right? A group hardcore Iron Man is good content, right? Because it's like, oh, the next big group, like, I mean, like, I don't think anyone's going to be doing it better than the current hardcore group, the hardcore GM series. It's going to be fucking hard to follow up. But it's like, hey, you know, you get four of your friends, you go, wait, do you want to be like married for like the next like 2 to 3 years, you know, potentially, and like get guilt tripped every time you don't play or whatever else? It's like, dude, like that in itself is something that I don't really feel like I'd ever want to do, like a group hardcore, because I've never seen it. It's very rare that it gets done like really well and everyone's just like happy with the outcome of it, right?
I feel like I will say, just on that point, I feel like it's a more dangerous shot, like, because I'm with you where I would only do a group Ironman if it was hardcore and it was with creators, because I feel like there's much more of a commitment if it's a non-hardcore, because now it's like, oh fuck, like we're actually stuck together until we just burn out. Whereas hardcore, there just is always that potential to just be like, dude, it could be like today we just lose our lives or something, you know? And yeah, I don't feel like it's quite a 2 to 3 year commitment. I feel like oftentimes if you're playing a hardcore, it's a matter of like a year. It feels like, not even sometimes, if you just make silly deaths.
Yeah, but even that's like a big fucking commitment. You know what I mean? Like,
it depends on the creators. Yeah, but like if you're all down, like the shit's fucking hype. Like Big Dogs, I had great viewership and stuff, and it was just hype the whole time, and you're having fun. But again, it depends on the team. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, there's that mesh and everything else. Look, if I was a full-time content creator and I was making a decent living, and a decent living is like comparable to what I'm making right now, which I don't think is that achievable. Like that would be it's. I don't know what everyone's making at the high end, but I know that it's probably not as high as what people think. Is it actually really good, dude? Can we?
Dude,
I don't know if we should talk about other people's numbers.
The thing is, I don't know their numbers. All I know is what I could imagine, which is, I mean, just look at somebody like Oda Block. Like he easily got a multi-million-dollar contract to go over to Kick. Easily. It's just like, it's guaranteed. Same with Bodhi. He got at least a couple million to go over there. Sick Nerd probably got almost 7 figures, maybe 7 figures to go over there. Like literally, it's like if you're at that level, you're only pulling a few thousand viewers, but you have leverage now with like these competitors. I mean, Kick being one that just has a fuck ton of money because they're like stake enterprise basically, and it's like, dude.
Eventually, if it gets to that point, then it's just like if the numbers get nuts, right? Like, I mean, I'm only playing at the level that I can kind of comprehend, where it's like I would have to be. Like to come, because I love my job. I can't talk about it, but I do love what I do and stuff like that outside of credit. I would have to be making more than what I'm making to justify it. It wouldn't be like, oh, I'm just gonna survive on content creator stuff. No, like I have to. It has to be really worth it. It like for me to be like to drop my passion, one of my passions, and trade it in for something else that I'm passionate about. Like at the moment, I can do both, and I'm comfortably doing both. The thing is that like all those big creators and stuff like that, they can pull those types of numbers, and it is possible. I mean, like, I think everyone has the capacity to do it, right? You know, I think YouTube's probably going to be the best way to go about it. I mean, like, could you trying to do that just off of Twitch alone? I'm sure you just thinking about that is like, it's just not fucking. You'd have to. There's like an unreasonable luck factor that would go into it. I feel, but I could be wrong. I could just not know enough.
It's just being an absolute entertainment house. Like you have to just understand how to be the most entertaining fucking person at all times. I mean, look at somebody like Oda Block. Oda Block literally started on Twitch and it just exploded because he's just pure entertainment value for like his whole audience.
He's just nonstop. He's a really like smart businessman as well. Like, say what you want. Like, there's a lot of people that he kind of falls into hot water, right, over things. But you take whatever you want away from him. You cannot take his like work ethic. You cannot take his ability to entertain. Like, he has so much going for him. It's insane.
Yep. And he's maintained it for years and years and years.
Which the hard part. There's an old saying in showbiz, right? The hard part's not getting it; it's keeping it, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can have a really good video, but what happens next? How are you going to strike when the iron's hot? That's one of the things I talked about with Uber after the pod with him was like, because we'll kind of like exchanging ideas and whatever else. And he was like, dude, what if this just makes you like settle too? And it's like, it goes like, what if it really works? And I'm like, well, fuck, like it is an overwhelming thought. A lot of people like, well, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to fail. Think about what would happen if you succeeded, the expectations that kind of come with that. It's a very stressful experience, no matter which way you slice it, because it either feels like a gigantic waste of time, or it feels like it's like a monkey's paw, right? Where you're just like, well, I got my wish, but at what cost?
Yeah, and that's why it's important to find what is actually going to be sustainable and fun for you. Like you gotta jump into content creation with the idea that like this is something I'm actually finding enjoyable. Because if you find something that's not quite enjoyable but it's popping off, good luck maintaining this now, because now this is the expectation you've set for everybody. So
yeah, which is like I could comfortably do what I did with the video that I've worked on and finished. It's not out yet, and it probably won't be out when this drops, but it will be out very soon, like within the next couple of days. I could do it, but it's like, how do I make the next idea, right? Like what is the next big thing? What do I have enough authority to talk about? How can I create a narrative that makes sense? How can I make it better from the last one? Because as with everything, there's always going to be something you could have done better. You could have had better production. You could have had a better story. You could have had better, ideas. You could have had everything. There's always something to improve on, right? And it's yeah. I feel like I could continue doing this, but there's also that part of me that's like, okay, I did this really big video. It took 6 months. I think what we spoke about before, right? If I were to just do a video once a week and it's not as big as a production value, but I try and keep it as entertaining as possible, would that be better, right? Like, it's a very pivotal moment. I feel, and I feel like no matter what happens, I'm going to learn a lot and benefit a lot. Any way you slice it. So I don't know. I feel like I'm currently making the right decisions, but it's very hard to, I don't know. Like, I guess to kind of go back to our original point about like creators and money making and things like that and surviving. I think ultimately, well, everyone they really want to do is go live and just have great streams and whatever else and make some cool videos and stuff like that. But there's a lot of work that goes into it behind the scene that I guess nobody sees.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like you said, if anything that you try right now, it's just going to be a learning experience to figure it out. Because Uberu and I have talked like ad nauseum about the content creation sphere, and just I've never really taken the super deep dive into like studying analytics and studying what topics are interesting for the month or something. Like, because there's a lot of research you can do into making a video that's like, oh, viewers that watch your content and other people's content are searching for these types of videos, and you can lean into that and lean into what sort of thumbnail or titles are doing well. And I've just never really taken that whole deep dive. But I will say, one of the things I do think about often is like, I feel like as a small creator, and Uberu agrees to a big extent, is like just publishing shit. Like you gotta get your name out there. But at the same time, there is still a benefit of maybe not making a 6-month long video, but something around the lines of like 1 to 2 months of publishing truly like quality content. So every time somebody does see your name, they're like, okay, this guy's taking himself really seriously in like his creative space. He's making shit that he's proud of rather than just pure slop daily,
Yeah, no, that's it's it's definitely we've definitely got to shorten the thing, but it's definitely challenging as well. Like I definitely overdid it in a lot of places where we probably could have not made it as complicated or whatever else, right? And I mean, you've seen how edited it is. I mean, I'm sure that I know that you haven't watched the whole thing, but you saw.
I was scanning through it. Yeah, it's pretty high production value.
It's like it's insane. And I'm really. I could not have done it without a video editor, right? Like, all glory to Harvey, dude. All glory. Like, I feel like my role at it was just like, okay, just make it. Give him the tools to make greatness. Was essentially all I could do. But yeah, I like the little team dynamic that we've got going on. with it. But yeah, if I wholeheartedly agree. You just have to put stuff out there. You just have to try, and you have to be willing to fail. Because fun fact is like in almost everything you do right away, you're going to probably fail and fail a lot. But the most important thing is to fail forward, I think. Because otherwise, you don't actually learn anything from the experience.
Okay, here let's take a quick little break. I'm gonna go pee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go stretch. Well, I got my mouth full of a little sweet treat.
Just popping open a Coke Zero.
Oh, respect. Dude, the Coke Zero Pepsi Max war. I mean, you guys don't really have like Australian Pepsi Max over in the States.
No, we don't. Everyone talks about Pepsi Max, but yeah, we don't have it. I mean, maybe we do, but I never see it.
I like both, but I feel like talking to Pepsi Max with Americans is like this mythical thing that it's like, fuck man, like it must be pretty good.
No, I mean I believe it. I still like Pepsi. Pepsi Zero sugar is just fine. I think I just lean on Coke. It's got a slightly more like raspy sort of taste. It's like a little bit more like harsh, just slightly. I think Pepsi is sweeter.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that like Coke's got that little bit of like it's got like it bites back a little bit,
Yeah,
like
just a little bit. I'm a fan of Coke Zero though. I think they've almost nailed it, so it almost tastes identical to Coke. Diet Coke was fucking ass back like 15 years ago when everything was just diet stuff. It's just horrible. But they've finally, I think food science has just come such a long way where they can actually just make things almost taste identical. Have you ever had like Monsters, just like original Monsters?
Oh yeah, no, I have. I remember.
Yeah.
I felt like when I was a kid playing Xbox 360, dude, I was just like,
oh yeah.
I was like, this will make me play better on my Call of Duty.
Dude, it probably fucking did. It's placebo effect, dude. But
legit.
What's nuts though is like they have I don't normally get normal Monsters. I think I find them like sickeningly sweet now. As a kid, they were fucking crack. But they have like the zero sugar original Monster now that tastes fucking identical. Like it's just identical to it, and it's zero sugar. I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, they've come a long way.
Oh, dude, like, yeah. Anyone that tried that stuff, I remember I tried like it was like Coke Zero. They used to have them in that black can. I don't know if you guys ever had that. It was
Wait, the what? Monster Zero or Coke Zero? What are you saying?
No, Coke Zero. Remember it used to be in a black can? Hold on.
Yeah, it was like Coke. It was like what do they call it? Because it wasn't Coke Zero. Maybe it was Coke Zero.
It was quite literally Coke Zero.
Okay. Because now it's Coke Zero sugar. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. They had like an original one. It was like zero everything, kind of. Yeah.
I missed the black can. I'm gonna say it looked way cooler.
Yeah. Yep. I see that.
But I guess with them making it a red can, it's probably like some brilliant marketing, right? Where you could grab it and it'd be a Coke Zero, but it's in the red can, and because like the food science has come such a long way that you literally cannot tell the difference. You're like, you think you're just drinking a Coke. And you're just like, oh fuck, it tastes a little bit weird, but whatever.
Yeah, no, it's 100% just millions of dollars poured into research of like what's gonna get people to buy it more often. I think the red can is a bit more attractive. The fucking gray can for Diet Coke is just the least appealing shit ever. I'm just like, god damn.
Dude, yeah, no, the Diet Coke is like kind of doomed from the start. And I don't even think it was that much better for you, to be honest. I think the Coke Zero, I mean, a lot of people will bang on about aspartame being bad for you or whatever else, but fucking everything's bad for you. Trying to find
it's all about
not going to kill you.
It's all about just like not fucking drinking like 20 of them a day. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
I just find it.
20 of the...
I just find it funny. Like I imagine, there's probably a few people out there that like any form of sugar, alcohol, or anything like that, or artificial sweeteners is like actually gonna fuck their like gut microbiome out. But if you're a normal average person with normal health, I still hear people that will say, I mean, I'm not gonna fucking drink those artificial sugars. I'm going with the full sugar. It's probably healthier. I'm like, bro, like I promise you, the amount of sugar that's like in this shit, when you see it like in the form of dry tablespoons of sugar, I promise you that just like a tiny little bit of aspartame is gonna be much better for you in the long run than just consuming just mountains of sugar.
I'm gonna say it. Sugar is like by far the most evil fucking business on the planet. In fact, I don't know exactly, but I think I was watching a documentary before that like American companies, like specifically in America, have like a deal with Big Sugar that like basically they put sugar in everything because it's like
Yeah.
addictive. It
Yeah.
hits the same like mental like I guess like mental nodes like brain nodes. It's like cocaine. So like
No,
it
straight
is
up.
it is addictive, and it is just terrible for you because it's just dead carbs. It just turns into fat, and because it's so like dense, it's just everything that you could possibly be doing wrong with what you put in your body pretty much starts and ends with sugar.
No, straight up. It's like
uh,
it's terrible for you. Now, the only real benefit to any sort of like sugar like that is if you're a fucking athlete. If you're a fucking athlete, you need to recover quickly. Yeah, fucking drink a Gatorade or something. Like have just a shit ton of. You don't need a shit ton of sugar, but like sugar is actually good for your body to like recover quickly and stuff. But yeah, if you're just gonna be sitting at a fucking desk job and just consuming sugar, Christ, that shit is horrible for you.
Oh yeah, no, you need to burn it off pretty quick. Like that's the
Yeah.
reality of it. Like, I mean, it's mostly just the salt with the electrolytes and stuff like that. With stuff like Gatorade, I'm pretty sure.
There's still a lot of
Like,
sugar in that stuff.
oh fuck yeah,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
fuck
like
yeah,
a
there is.
normal Gatorade, not a Gatorade Zero, just like any. It's the same thing with juice. If you just drink, it's like, oh, it's fruit. It's made of fruit. Like, bro, if you're drinking apple juice, like that, this shit's just as bad as soda. It's just like sugar.
Hmm. Oh yeah, no, apple juice is like it is deceptive because it seems healthy, but if you actually look at it, and actually just like run the numbers, you think to
Yeah.
yourself, "Fuck, that is it." It should almost be illegal. I'm pretty sure it's worse than Coke. Like if you would just have full sugar Coke, like apple juice is
No,
worse.
it's probably identical. Honestly, I think Coke might be slightly worse just because it's probably got some extra chemicals going on, but it's probably it's just such a small difference. But yeah, just I
Well,
don't
I mean,
know.
you look
Like,
at those ones, but it's like, oh, we've got 10 full apples in there. It's like, do you know how much sugar, like fructose or whatever the fuck it's called,
yeah, yeah,
is in like just one apple? It's like actually really deceptively like
yeah.
there can be too much of a good thing. I guess would be the the way to put an
That's
apple.
always it. It's just a matter of balance. You can have sweets, you can have all this nice junk food, but you just fucking limit it. Like, just make sure the rest of your diet's on point.
Either that or you pay for it with sit-ups and walking and a whole bunch of exercise. Which I know
Yeah.
that the amount of people that I know is like, I only work out so I can eat like shit. I'm like, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, if that's how you want to live, I just feel like, dude, like when it comes to real sustainable health, it's you just got to find something that you actually enjoy that's moving your body.
Mhm.
You should not be seeing food as like evil. Like I feel like I've finally just over the past few years, I've finally gotten in such a good relationship with food where I just eat whatever the hell I want. But I've
Mhm.
developed enough habits where like I'm generally choosing a healthier diet even though
Mhm.
I will still go out buy a fucking massive cookie and ice cream on the occasional weekend and stuff and just
Mhm.
not feel any guilt to it. And it's just
Mhm.
because like on top of all of that, I exercise daily and it's like that's become fun. It's not like I have to do this because I ate this one thing.
Yeah,
So,
that's something that I'm struggling with because like I live quite a sedentary lifestyle, and like if
mhm.
I'm not streaming, I'm working, and both of them are in front of the computer. So it's like at minimum, guaranteed, I'm going to be sitting down at a computer for like 12 hours a day, and it's
Yeah.
like like you have to find the time. That's something that I'm struggling with personally. Where I'm like, okay, how do I actually prioritize my health? The thing is, like all good content creators, I had a video idea for it. So it's something that I also would like to do to kind of hedge my bets because I feel from just the RuneScape category, right? There's so much more, and we're all capable of so much more than just RuneScape. I think someone that's really good at that is, or like Prison Joe, that's really like, extending out into skits and stuff like that, where he's had like Charles and the average life of a RuneScaper, where he's kind of expanding out and
Mhm.
doing more stuff. I had this idea where it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of unhappy with my health is right now. One of the things I learned in my work is that a lot of like personal trainers and nutritionists are using ChatGPT to things. So it's like, what if I haven't quite worked it out yet, but if I'm even going to do it, but what if I had ChatGPT plan out everything I'm going to eat, everything how I'm going to move, and everything for the next 30 days, and see what the result is, right? Um, that could be like a cool like fun idea, where I'm kind of achieving my goal and also working on like the YouTube. That's something that could be good, but I don't know if I want to split my focus that much just yet. Get the
Yeah.
RuneScape stuff going, and then do other cool projects on the side. I don't know how people feel about AI, but it's fucking here, man. Like that's just that's just the reality of it. It's one of those things, right? It's like, is it the death of creativity, or is it allowing people to do more than they were originally capable of? So, from like, a marketing standpoint, is it easier for a business owner to hire 20 different roles? Thinking about like how much that costs, right? So if you wanted to get like a copywriter, which is someone that writes words, that's like 100K. If you wanted to get a video editor full time, that's like 100K a year. And then you just like all these roles that AI can kind of fill, whether it's some kind of like business advisory or copywriting or video scripting or data interpretation, which is one of the things that I show people how to do as well. It's like, here's how you can use AI to read the numbers so I don't have to read them for you. Please use them. And there's so many things, like teachers, for example. My partner's a teacher as well. GC on girlfriend, by the way. I know that's pretty new, right? Like that's a pretty budding relationship.
Yeah, I mean, we started talking late May of this year, and it was like long distance. She's out in Denver. I'm in Oregon, so.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's not as long distance as me from you, as Australia. I think we're on the other side of the world.
That would be fucking rough, by the way. If like that sort of long distance would just be, oh my god, can't imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely good. It's like it's pretty like in a pretty good position where it gives you enough time to miss each other, right? If you can both do long distance and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, like, only you can decide that, right? A lot of people would be like, oh, well, long distance sucks or long distance is great or whatever else. It's like, as long as you're having fun, as long as they're having fun and it's just a great relationship all around, then it's like, that's the big thing. I mean, like, shout out like teachers as well, dude. Like, my partner's a teacher. Dude, that shit does not look easy. Please use AI. Like, I don't think Jody uses AI, but she should. I taught her how to do some stuff with it. Yeah, there's a lot of ethical concerns, I guess, where it's like how much power it uses and whatever else. But like, it's like, the cat's out of the bag. The people that it allows people to do more than what they're capable of, because hiring people costs a shitload of money, like more than what most people can even comprehend. And like for things like AI, where it's like, oh, it's bad for the planet, it's killing creative jobs, it's doing this, it's like people just cost too much. It's just the reality of it. It's like, to hire a full team of people that you need to do could cost you $1 billion a year minimum. Like to get everything you need that you can get for free with AI. Although that's a little bit sus to me. The fact that it's free and readily available. I mean, there's some like you can pay for it in some cases to get extra features or whatever else. But it's like, it to me, from what I could see and how powerful it is and how people use it and stuff like that. I don't know if you ever saw like the Markiplier video on honey. Oh yeah, it wasn't Markiplier's video, but like the honey situation. It feels like there's something like that going on.
No, I mean, it's just like when any sort of startup is completely free, or like when Amazon is starting up and they're just running at just the most incredible loss of all time. It's just like they're just dominating the market. Like, there's investors that understand the value of this, and they're like, oh, it doesn't fucking matter that you're losing shitloads of money right now, because what is so much more important is just dominating and making this. It's the same with DoorDash. I feel like I don't actually know the financial situation of DoorDash. I just know when they were first starting, like, they had to go so hard on their customer support, where like if they ever fuck your order up, like, they are just going to like unapologetically just be like, here's your money back, like, here's a credit, go for it. And I felt like they just had to earn everybody's sort of trust and make it so things are just slightly cheaper. And maybe they were running at a loss, I don't actually know in that department, but I'm sure once they've dominated so much and everyone's become fucking addicted to that delivery service, then they can just let loose and be like, all right, now we're going to just jack our fees up and jack everything else up. And, oh, you wanted a refund? Oh, fuck you. You're already addicted to using us.
Legit. I mean, like, people use that strategy all the time. It's one of the most
that is the strategy to make a huge business. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just massive impact. This is like just most people can't absorb that kind of like loss for that long. Nobody has multi-million-dollar investors. So I mean, like the thing that like the story that always gets me is like Uber, right? Where Uber comes in, it's cheaper than taxis. I mean, back in the day when you used to catch taxis and stuff like that, you'd call the taxi company and they'd be like, "Yep, we'll be out there as soon as we can," and it'd be like fucking an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and nobody showed up. And you think, oh yeah, it's still on the list or whatever else, right? Like Uber offered convenience at a price that was like, it was insane not to do it, and people like revolted. But taxis were doing a shit job. It's just the reality of it, right? Like if you're doing a shit job, someone will do that job better eventually. You know, that's I think why the big downfall of the taxi industry. And it basically what ended up happening is the taxi drivers just became Uber drivers, and then they had to follow these other rules and stuff like that Uber had, which made it a little better for the consumer, which is always good, which is why they dominate, right? But the cost savings was one of the big reasons why everyone used it. Would you like to pay, I don't know, like I'm going to use Australian money, so just like whatever $8 is in AUD is probably like 5 cents American. So that's not actually true, but that's a pretty good way to look at it. It's basically monopoly money. It was like it looks like monopoly money too, man. I don't know if you use street Australian money. It's but yeah, it's like it costs you like $50 or something like that for an Uber, for a taxi, and it costs you $20 for an Uber. It's like, well, do I want to pay $30 extra and maybe they don't even show up? It's like a no-brainer. And now an Uber costs like 60, and the taxis doesn't even exist anymore. Like, of course they still exist, but like not at the same scale. And the service is just too good that even though it costs more, and even though it's less reliable than it was, it's still infinitely more reliable than thing. You can track exactly where your Uber driver is. The problem now is that, like, you know, how many times have you been on a night out where you're like, I need to catch an Uber home, and like you've gone through fucking 20 different drivers because they accept it and then cancel it because it's not convenient for them. It's sort of like the same problem, but now it's just that you can kind of like see it happening a bit more, I guess. I don't know what my overarching point is, but I know that convenience is king. And ChatGPT is, I mean, there's nothing has been more widely adopted. The internet used to hold that as the big thing that was like the biggest adoption in human history. And now it's AI, which is scary as fuck, but it's just too good. Like, and if you're not using it in some capacities, it's like you're almost robbing yourself, right? Like you could be, let's say for example, right, you want to do it as like ethically as possible, right? It's like, oh, but I kind of can't think of a YouTube title, so maybe I might give like ChatGPT the script, or I might ask it to generate a thumbnail, right? And it's like, if you don't have a job and you don't have any skills and you can't afford a video editor or a thumbnail maker or whatever else, right? Like the obvious choice is like, this is the best tool in front of me for the resources that I have. And I mean, like, even if you do have those things, it's like AI is instant versus like if you hire an artist, right? And this is not any artist, right? Like this is not like a criticism of anyone in particular, but if you hire an artist, for example, and they take a month to get the commission done or whatever else, and it's not even that good versus the time investment you could have had just by using AI and it being instant, you'd be like, oh well, it's shit, but like it was instant, so I guess I'll just try again. It's like it's hard to compete. It's like almost impossible. Like,
and it's only going to get better. That's the crazy thing.
If you look at what has happened over the last 5 years, like I've got the benefit of looking at the business sector, like the insanity. So basically, you know, I've done a fair bit of copywriting, which is basically just writing words that sell, for businesses essentially. Like if you were to go back 5 years and you compare my copy to something someone else, like AI has written, you'd be like, oh, well, you know, obviously this was written, like mine would be written by a human. It's pretty good, you know, like, but like now it's like AI is at that point where it's just good enough where it's like, well, I could spend an hour writing this and thinking about it and stuff like that. But, you know, at the speed everything needs to move at, it's probably better that I just use AI. Even though I know how to do it, I could just optimize it based on the information that it gives me. It's, I don't know if it's like, I guess, I don't know how many people relate to the marketing talk and stuff like that, but it's definitely, AI is in this interesting spot where it's too good at what it does and how much time it saves and stuff like that. For example,
Dude.
I used AI for some of my video. I didn't I didn't get it to write the whole script. It's like, hey, could you please structure this in a way that makes sense? So I wrote down all my ideas about how I think, and it just looked at this bumbling mess. And I'm like, please organize my thoughts for me. And then it just itemized, you want to do this, 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 and this. And I'm like, that sounds perfect. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then I took that in. So
isn't that crazy? It's like it's just instant too. It's like, here you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like so, like if anyone struggles with like, I put all my ideas on paper, but it's still not enough. It's like just give it to the robot, and the robot will organize it in a way that makes it sense. So your thoughts are now legible. It's like fuck. So anyone that thinks I'm unethical for that, what can you do, dude? Like it's like it's like I could choose to agonize over it, or I could just do it because it makes the most sense. Like, please organize my list in a way that makes sense. People might pay an assistant to do that. People do pay assistants to do that. But ChatGPT is like the ultimate assistant. It's like the best task it's good at.
Yeah, no, and the wild thing is, you look back 5 years, like you just said, and you see 5 years from now, and if we're on any sort of trend of like somewhat exponential growth of this technology, it's gonna get fucking wild to the point where like the scary thing, and also exciting, but also fucking scary, is just the just the potential of AI now making better AI, where it's like the humans aren't even involved anymore. It's just the AI is making the better AI. It's like, what the fuck? Because that's where it just like scales out of proportion.
Yeah, it's a really scary time. If you've obviously got like the scary, like the horror stories, like you think like Terminator, right? Where it's like, oh no, if we make the AI too good, it's gonna be Terminator. The best analogy that I've ever gotten was this, where it's like, when you build a highway, do you consider the ants like homes that you break when you're building that highway? It's like, no, you just want to get to where you're going in the most optimal way possible. And the highway is the best way to do it. It doesn't matter that you had to destroy those ants' homes to achieve this, because they don't matter in the grand scheme. So it's like, when does it come to the point where, even though AI has been built to service humanity, where does it come to the point where humanity is the bottleneck for the AI? It doesn't even have to be of malice. I don't think it has the comprehension to do it in malice, right? It's just like, this is the most optimal way to do this. Humanity's in the way. They have to go to achieve the goal, whatever the goal is.
Yep.
So it's not a symbol of malice, right? As soon as AI is making better AI, that's when it kind of just coin flipping it really. Are we going to be destroyed by our overlords, or are we going to go into humanity's utopia era? That's the coin flip. That's the gambit. I think cynics are probably going to win, but you gotta it's like when you do a prediction on Twitch, dude. It's like, come on, believers, we really need we really want best outcome for it. But yeah, it's scary. Like, people are scared of it, and I think rightfully so. I think that the moment that we get to the point where it is making better copies of itself, it's like we are at its mercy. We just have to hope that it likes us, essentially. I don't know if that's like too like, I guess like doomer. I remember when I was like 17, I got a job at Domino's, and they were talking about doing like these drones and stuff like that. And in my interview with the guy that I worked for, I was like, so hey man, I see that you're doing like these Domino's drones. This was a really big push in Australia. I don't know if you guys did it over in the United States, but they'll talk like Canberra, they'll talk like Canberra. It's basically like a drone that delivers your pizza for you. I said to him, it was like, dude, how long until that replaces my job? And he fucking laughed, and he said, probably not for a while, mate, but that's a good question. So it's there's always this thing. You've always got to be thinking, okay, cool. It's like, it's kind of like a nihilistic approach, but like, no matter what you do, how can you do it better? And if an AI can do it better than you, how could you use AI to make your work even better? Would probably be the best thing. Obviously, not everyone's going to work for themselves, but
a fucking pizza delivering drone it's so crazy because if you would have said that, like, you know, what you said 11 years ago or something, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But nowadays it's like, bro, like that seems like it could actually be happening in some like select cities. Like I would not be so fucking surprised if that's happening.
Well, I mean, they have trialed like wheeled drones and stuff like that over in the United States, but the problem is that they would get robbed. So people would see the rolling drone, they'd push the drone over, they'd break the content inside and steal the pizza,
or just take a slice really quick and then just.
Well, I mean that too. I mean, it's obviously all locked up. I mean, like in for a penny, in for a pound, right? You might as well rob the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's an experience. I've been robbed as a pizza guy before. That was always good.
Oh God.
Dude, it's
by the person that ordered the pizza, or do you just like
by the pizza
dude?
Person that ordered the pizza.
Wow,
they just stole the pizza. I was not letting them take the money. But we don't have guns over here, so like it's not like I'm gonna get shot. If I'm getting shot, then I'm like, you can take it, man. I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, no, this was happening 10 years ago. The thing is they couldn't get it past legislation. I think for a lot of things where it's like robots delivering your food and stuff like that, the logistics of it actually working the way that it's intended doesn't account for like the worst that humanity has, right? Like, what's to stop someone from being like, I'm going to rob the drone? Because, I mean, like, you know, at a certain level, if you take the right precautions, it's like, how can I be held accountable? You know, if I wear a mask and I break it and I take it, like, you know, the robot's not going to testify, you know what I mean? Like, it might have a video recording or something like that, but it's like it doesn't account for, like, for example, I won't tell you where I live, but we've had street lights out for 2 years because some local crackheads, and I mean, like, I live pretty like rural, right? But some local crackheads keep stealing the copper wiring from the street signs, so from the street lights, so they just don't fix them because they keep getting stolen.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't live in some like crack den or anything like that, or like it's just like rural's quite funny because it's like, you know, you don't really get like that city kind of like where there's just like like crackheads just like hanging out and congregating in one typical area, right? I don't really know why they've specifically targeted our streetlights, but I mean, there's that, and the lights have just been out forever because of that. Which I think, you know, honestly, I think it's a little funny. But I mean, obviously, it's just like, it kind of sucks. It's like, I like to see where I'm going, but it's still a little, it's a little funny.
Yeah, that'll happen though.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, yeah, sure. If they try to fix it, it's just gonna keep getting jacked. Yep. Yeah, it's just such an interesting world. Like, kind of like wrapping up that whole AI thing. I think one of the things I'm most excited about is in my own pursuit with AI. I've talked about this before. Is just like when AI gets good enough, and there already might be some paid versions of it that would really be helpful, but like being able to organize all the casts I've done and like have transcripts of it all, and then for me to just put in like, hey, I want a compilation episode of like the funniest moments, and it like can recognize every time like me or my guest have laughed. And it's like, here's a massive selection of all these things. You want me to like choose the ones that like reach the highest decibel level and stuff. And so it's just like that. And then I'll be like, I want a compilation of the times we've talked about TOB, and it could just find it all. And so it's just like this massive compilation of just like when my guests and stuff are talking about TOB, for example. And I think that would just be such a powerful fucking tool. And it probably already has the capability, but I think just the logistics of it is just too much at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think it's as simple as you'd want it to be, but I'm pretty sure it already exists. You could use something like Auto AI that transcribes videos with AI, and you could probably plug that data into ChatGPT and be like, here's my YouTube channel, here's my top performing videos based on these videos and these transcripts that I'm providing you. You know, can you please organize the compilation in this way? Like, the thing is that you could ask AI before you ask the prompt. So say, for example, you could be like, hey man, I want to do this. I need a prompt for it so that way we can get it done. What would you recommend me say to you? It literally will give you the answers to get the answer you want.
Yeah.
Like, what
It's
information do you need to get me the result that I want?
yeah. It's crazy. And I just at this point I'm just like, dude, the more time I wait, the just more powerful it's gonna get. So I'm in no rush. So
Yeah, it's definitely it will definitely just keep getting better and easier. So I wouldn't rush either, but it's definitely cool.
yeah. I want to circle all the way back now, back to Grandmaster, and just, not going necessarily into your video, but you did talk with people that are Grandmasters. And I want to just ask you now, based on everything you've heard and based on the things you've experienced with getting Grandmaster, what are your like biggest issues with it? Where I can almost hear the like echoes of like No Monkey, not liking how many there are. I'm in full agreement with that, and I'm kind of on board with the speed tasks. However, I do feel like maybe Grandmaster should have some version of like a gear check, which I do think is kind of important. And if you'd make the speed ones too easy, it's just like, but I don't know.
Like
What are your overall like thoughts on the like the downsides or like the things you don't like about CAs?
So the problem the problem that I have is probably an unconventional problem. Is that like the reason was a little bit like burnt out after my CA grind is because I did them so rapidly in all that succession, right? So there's like this big build up, then like you finally get it done, and then it's like then all the pressure's gone. It's like fuck, what do I do now? Like I in terms of the tasks that I didn't like, there wasn't actually that many. I'm not a big fan of chambers, so that was probably the one I struggled with the most. I just suck at solo on, so I doing it with shadow, trying to shadow run and like some of the mechanics and whatever else. So like the CM solo speeds and stuff like that weren't that fun for me. I actually really like Toa, so I couldn't like it. The hardest part about some of those CAs is that the ones that you typically do with like in a duo are stuff that you do all the time on your own anyway. Um, in terms of like there was definitely some ones that were hard. I think one of the ones that some of the sets that I thought weren't that bad was actually Inferno. Inferno was kind of fun. I finished off with the 50 HP task, and I tanked a Zuck hit, which is really fucking funny actually.
Hell yeah.
So not only did I tank a Zuck hit, but it also would have done enough damage to fail the task if I had not brewed. So it was cinema. It was fucking cinema. The problem I currently have with CAs now, I think, can be encapsulated with Doom and Yama. So I originally thought I'd be kind of fucked, like when it first came out with things. I thought getting Radiant Oathplate would have been a CA. I haven't actually got my Radiant yet. I've just not really been playing my main at all. I'm sure I could do it. I could watch a guide. I could get it done, and thing. But I thought it was originally going to be a CA, and I couldn't be bothered doing it. But I ended up just getting one of the contracts done and re-GMing. The Doom ones have come out, but I haven't actually really been dooming all that much. Like, I was watching all the streamers do it, and I thought, do I really want to do it as well? Can I really be fucked? Like, I was so burnt on the end game, and I think the biggest problem is that they're never going to make everyone happy. I'm sure that you've seen on Twitter that it's like, well, the new CAs are actually kind of really hard, So like, if the point of the video was to get harder CAs, I guess, we kind of won. There's some talk between like some people that like in that they're like, oh, they're obviously gonna nerf and they're gonna make them easier or whatever else, or maybe they won't. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the air. I don't actually know that many people that have re-GM'd. I think it's one of those ones where this one might take people a little bit longer. Like I haven't been trying all that much. I'm sure if I sat there, the thing I think about is like mostly is like if I do it, I'm gonna stream it, but I haven't actually done that much Doom, so it's just gonna be like it's not gonna be a GMing stream. It's gonna be like, okay, first and foremost, let's just learn how to do the boss properly, and then we can actually do it in like a week from now. But I don't actually know. I think that just to kind of circle back to the original thing, I actually really like where the CAs were as well and are, and I think that everything is pretty good. I think that getting Radiant maybe should have been a thing to get GM just because of like Torva, like and getting Blood Torva. But I can see why they wouldn't want to make a precedent as well. Sort of like the way that we have, like, well, every cape upgrade has to come from like a wave-based minigame, like Inferno Cape,
Mm-hmm.
or thing like, or like I'm sure when you were looking at like the mage cape upgrade that they're proposing with the Doom, stuff like that, a couple months back, they're like, well, it's not coming from a minigame, it's not this, it's not that. All capes have to fit into this box. It's like, no, it doesn't. But the community has this expectation. Like, I think with GM or anything hard in RuneScape, the best thing you can do is just start. That's all I did. I just like one day I woke up and I said, hey, I'm gonna start working towards this and see how far I can go. And then I just started doing bosses. Like, oh well, I feel like doing some Duke today. Let's try and do some Duke CAs. I feel like doing some Musper today. I'm gonna sit in Ruby Rebolt set for 4 fucking hours to get the speed time. I didn't actually take me that long, to be fair, but that was what I was told by chat at the time. I was like, yeah, dude, enjoy Ruby resetting. I'm like, is it really that bad? Um, it's not that bad, but it's definitely will take you a couple tries. But yeah, the biggest thing is that I think that stops people the most is that they see how big it is, and they it feels so insurmountable that they don't try. The amount of players that have the capacity to become a grandmaster, but don't because it just takes too long, and they're kind of looking at it from a reward standpoint rather than like the satisfaction of doing it standpoint. Is why like a lot of people don't do it.
Hmm.
I feel like they recently released stats that like 0.17% or whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah, I
of
remember
people
seeing that.
have bid at GM, and it's like based on how many players have actually played the game. So this means that people that picked up the game and quit and whatever else, like the actual player base that have done a certain amount of content, it would probably be closer to maybe like I'd probably say 2% would be reasonable of like people that are actively playing and aren't just like
No, no,
bots
no,
or
no,
whatever.
no. That screenshot was representing the people that have achieved any CA rank. So it's
So
0.17% of people that have even achieved that have achieved easy or higher. That's
oh,
how
okay.
few. Yeah, it's a fuck. So when you're seeing all the players, it's fucking nothing. But to be fair, getting easy is quite easy. I mean, it just feels like you're like a beginning Ironman and you get easy pretty fucking quick. So
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like you kill a fire giant, you're on the board. You know what I mean? Like
no, no, no,
I
no, no, no.
originally
But it's not just completing one task. It's completing a tier. It was saying. At least I'm. Let me just look it up just to fully reconfirm because it was on Old School's Twitter.
gotcha. Yeah, because I actually originally thought it was um it was the other way around, right? Where you'd have to get at least one. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess in that case that it's
Yeah,
pretty good.
it's.
Which I thought it would have actually been higher than that, to be fair. And that's like including all the people that have like paid for it and whatever else. So
Oh
you
wait,
could
wait,
put
wait. Maybe you're okay. Let me see this. It says percent of players in CA tier when they have any CA. Is that just saying when they have any combat achievement? Because then it literally is basically fucking everyone. I thought it
yeah,
meant when they have
I
any combat achievement tier.
I don't know enough to say with certainty. So I don't wanna be like,
Yeah.
hey, yep, I know it's this for certain. It's like this guy's a fucking idiot. Like he's the thing. I have no idea. But that's the way I described it is the way I interpreted it. Um
Interesting.
yeah, I mean if that's the case, like that is like very few players. And if it's the people that have achieved easy CAs and stuff like that, then like that is even like that's even crazier because like the whole thing I think about with the point of my video is that it felt like everyone fucking had GM basically. um, but if based on these statistics, is it true? Maybe it is as prestigious, but you just like hang out with too many nerds. Like I don't know, like
I
that
just
could
think
be the
I just think there's a fuck ton of people that are playing this game that we don't realize how
yeah.
many. It's just so many players.
Well, I mean, if you
So
think about it, like most people have like a home world, right? Like my home world's like 569.
hmm.
That's like the Oz Tob world. Versus all the people that are on all the other worlds, right? And they've all got a shitload of people on them. And well, some of them are bots. I think we're definitely in like the golden age of RuneScape when it comes to how many people are actively playing it. But supply and demand, baby, we have just as many bots coming through as well. So Shout out the deck scroll. That shit's gone up. I won one of those in a marbles recently, and that felt pretty good.
What are your, let me just ask you, because I feel like I am one of those few players that, well, one has re-GM'd, over a handful of times, probably 7 or 8. I haven't even been playing on Sae Bae for the last year, but do you feel like it's a good experience to have to continuously re-GM? Do you feel like that's inevitable, or do you have any other thoughts of like, just because you've only gotten GM, you haven't even re-GM'd once, have you?
No, I have. I did with Yama.
Okay, so that was the time you re-GM'd, but right before that, you had just achieved it for the first time, correct?
Yes. So I guess the best way to describe it is how I feel about it right now. It's like, do I care that I'm not a GM at the moment? It's like, not really. Like, because I have.
But you're also not playing your account. But if you were playing your account, you would be like, fuck, like I have to fucking do this because this.
Well, actually,
right?
it's like a little bit different now, like, because like the whole thing was like you get the cool helmet and you get the aesthetic at all times, right? That's why a lot of people were re-GMing at the rate, but because they basically moved all those the rewards that mattered to master, it's like, oh, well, do I really care? Like the hardest part is, for me currently right now, like if like I'm playing my main like just Fletch in the side, it's like, well, I can't wear my Slayer helm and I have to fucking get my Gummel's hilt off my thing, but outside of that, that's pretty much it. Like I'm not an infernal speedrunner, right? I don't have to re-GM to get.
There's still a few others, like there's the few others, like such as the boss task. Like you get a higher amount of boss, and like God Wars dungeon cases 25 instead of 15, which is frustrating.
Ooh, oh yeah, no, it's a good thing. Next is fucking worthless. Although the change they made to Next, I recently went before they put the CAs in. Next is actually pretty fun now with the Blood Reavers basically being a gigantic health sack, dude. That shit's nuts. That shit's fun as fuck. Like you went from like it was like the perfect incentivication where it's like people aren't killing the Blood Reaver. Well, what if we made it so when you hit them you get infinite health? So everyone hits it now. It's fucking beast.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Oh, dude, it's fun as fuck there. Like,
That's
duos were pretty easy, like as they currently were, but even now, it's like duo next is like it's like a really nice scale. Trio next is a really nice scale. Like if you all know what you're doing, like it's like fucking hella bingeable.
That's cool.
Whereas before it was just a brew simulator. Whereas now it's like not that bad anymore. So big ups to the changes they made to Next. It's kind of cool. In terms of re-GMing, to circle back, like the thing is that my current goal for re-GMing, I was thinking about doing something for like September, where I'd have like forfeits or whatever. It's like we hit a certain sub goal, I'll go and do something like go and get Radiant, go and re-GM at like certain sub goals or whatever else. I've never really gone for anything like that because I personally like haven't really ever pushed for people subscribing, like please subscribe to my Twitch or whatever else, because it's just like I'm just like, dude, just get it. Well, I mean, just get an ad blocker bad or get Turbo. I'm a big proponent for Turbo, dude. Go get that shit. That's beast. Except the problem that I have is just people will be like, well, I'm getting ads and it's the streamer's fault. It's like, we're the last people you should blame, man. It's like, at the very least, blame Bezos before you blame me. You know, like, fuck me. I feel like, and it's very hard to say, because like, how do you tell Twitch chat that you think they're wrong without seeming rude? It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like if you could download an ad blocker, which you can, you should probably just do that if you really don't like them. But like, I use the ad money to go and pay the editor, so that way it's like a self-enclosed system, right? And it doesn't cover the cost. So it's always like a loss leader and stuff like that. So like any ad revenue, like I'm not a big subscribe to Twitch streamer, right? So I'm not like raking it in every single month. It's like 17 active subscribers or something right now. Like I do not push for it. But yeah, it's like I think people should just probably get Turbo if they're like watch more than 2 streamers, which almost everyone that's on Twitch watches a whole bunch of different people. It's really fucking it's good for me because I get to watch all my streamers when I'm not streaming and not have to worry about ads. It's really cool. I forgot what the original question was. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like Turbo just makes sense when you are somebody that's using Twitch daily. Like, and you're like at home watching fucking Twitch. Like that's the shocking thing when I'll see somebody that like works from home and they're on Twitch every single day, and I'll see them every single day and they still don't have it. It's like, you'd enjoy your experience just like so much fucking more. And like, I know it costs, but like at the same time, like if you work and you are on Twitch like for 8 hours a day, like fucking just why not? It's just like you literally have ad free everywhere plus mobile. Because I feel like the worst thing is not, if you have an ad blocker, that's great until you're on your iPhone watching Twitch and it's like time to sit through 3 minutes of fucking ads. Yeah. So, yeah, but I get it if people are just like more casually watching and they've seen the difference from 5-10 years ago, from when Twitch was just bare minimum ads, and now it's just an infestation of it. I mean, it is kind of sad in a way, but it's like just how things go.
Well, there's a lot of people talking about it. I know that Charlie, just released a video today. It's like,
I saw that.
I haven't seen the video yet, but it's like the death of streaming. And I mean, like, yeah, it's like advertise the shit. It's like pick your poison. It's like, do you want to be on Twitch where like all the revenue is coming from ads and you're just getting absolutely fucking like destroyed by them? Or do you want to go to Kick and have like your streamers be supported? You're not watching ads, but it's like attributed to gambling or whatever else, right? It's like, which one in your mind is the lesser of two evils? I mean, like from the streamer's perspective, it's like, where's my audience going to be? It's like, I don't think a lot of people, I think when people went over to Kick, that a lot of their audiences didn't follow. I don't think that was like a sign of malice. It was just like, like we're RuneScapers, right? We are probably the most stubborn people on the planet. It's like, we don't want to change, we want to keep it relatively the same. I've been playing the same point and click adventure for 25 years. Like, get a grip. So like, if you wanted to become a full-time streamer and that's the only thing that you were doing, and you wanted to make, let's say for example, let's be modest and say, hey, you wanted to make $3,000 a month, like from just streaming alone. And we'll use that in USD. I'll just translate that to Australian so I can actually feel like I make sense. 3,000. Would you say $3,000 a month is like a livable wage?
In America? Fuck no.
All right. Actually, what would you say?
It probably is. It probably is in a lot of locations, unless you live like
on the big, like on the coast or like.
It's livable if you live alone and stuff. Yeah, that's plenty. But
yeah, so like $3,000 a month. Like to make $3,000 a month just on subscriptions alone, how much is a tier one?
They're $6 now.
$6, so you get $3 from that. So 3,000 divided
by 3.
Right. You would need to have 1,000 subscribers on Twitch.tv to make a livable wage. It's like there's not many people that are pulling those kinds of numbers. I can tell you that right now. That is a substantial. Like, I have 17. I don't push it. I don't know how many you have. I'm not going to ask because I just don't want to. I mean, like, I wouldn't mind knowing, but I'm not going to ask because I don't want to be rude.
I'll say my top, if I am consistently streaming, which I have not been for the past several months, usually I would run around like 300 to like 500. That's like generally and there's a lot of gifted. I think the kind of base people that is probably like 150 to like 200 was when I was consistently streaming. But the max I ever hit was like 3 years ago. I think I hit a 1,200 peak at one point just because of crazy amounts of gifts. And which is like, that's not sustainable at all for me.
No, I've definitely had a lot more than 17, but this is just like where I'm currently sitting, where like that's just the way it is, like it's either that, like if you want to like completely go off of, I guess to kind of circle back off of subscriptions, it's like 3,000 is 1,000 active subscribers would probably get to the point where like you've got a livable wage, but that's like $6 from 1,000 people or gifted subs or whatever, right? It's like, it's a lot to ask of anyone, right? And then the other way is that you run ads, and ads aren't that good either, but the amount of people that watch you versus the amount of people that subscribe to you, it's like night and day. That like, it's like 90, I would say it's probably about 90% of people that watch you are probably not actively subscribed. Maybe. I don't actually know if that's true. I guess depending on how.
Yeah.
It depends on the creator. I would say that once you scale it up, it'd probably be pretty close to the 80-20 rule. Like 20% of people subscribe to you, 80% aren't. Or they get gifted subbed or whatever. But like people that are actively spending their money specifically on you, then I don't know. Like it is hard to become a creator and be sustainable from it. So you've got to do all the other revenues and stuff like that. I mean, like, you know, people are taking like sponsorships on YouTube stuff, and people will be like, oh man, I hate sponsored ads and stuff like that. It's like, I haven't taken a sponsorship, but it is substantial. I mean, Evescape did a really good video on it. I think he took it down, but he spoke about like his breakdown of revenue and how everything worked and stuff like that, because he wanted to give like a bit of a, you know, eye-opening experience for people that want to pursue this and what he's experiencing at the level that he's at. But yeah, it's not easy. It's basically my overarching point.
Yeah. And that's what's so important about expanding onto YouTube and other places. It's just, if this is not your, or if it's full time, you have to spread your wings. I mean, podcasting for me was like the biggest, that was the best thing that I've done with my like content creation career, is just like expanding into this and actually being consistent, because it was nothing for a couple years and then it started growing like after doing it for a couple years. So I didn't even start it with that intention, but you start any project and you just stay consistent with it, it grows. So
yeah,
definitely glad I kind of jumped over on YouTube and then started some other projects.
Dude, there's the old saying, the grass grows where you water it, right? Like, yeah. That's the big thing. And I mean, like, you know, you've done a lot. Like, you have a lot to be proud of, right? You know, you've built, I would probably say, I think this is statistically right, the biggest podcasting thing in the old school RuneScape space. I don't know if it's actually right, but I'm pretty sure it's true. You know, you put in a lot of work. You've given a platform to a whole bunch of creators and stuff like that. You've done a lot of good work. I think it's to be commended. If you to remove the, you know, the benefits of that completely, I mean, like, you know, it's you know, a really commendable feat. You know, you look at, there's a lot of people that are kind of coming up in this space that would probably look to you as somebody that to kind of aspire to. It's like, fuck, man, it's like, I want to do old school RuneScape podcast, and it's like, who's the best at it? It's like, well, let's have a look at what Sae's doing. And it's like, oh yeah, cool. It's like, man, I don't know how to get all these guests and put all this together. Like, it's like this, it all seems so insurmountable, you know, looking at it from like the bottom of the mountain versus like as you get closer to the top.
I'm kind of curious. So, you know, you bringing up the shovel thing at the beginning of it, was the demonic digger. You were a fan of that? Is that what I heard?
Yes, dude. So the thing oh, sorry, you go.
I guess it's not really talking about that specifically, but I am curious about your stance on like power creep with the game, because I do feel like some people there's like two different camps. There's people that are just like fucking send it, and then there's people that are a lot more careful with like how progress the game goes, even in regards to skilling, but mostly just PvM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that power creep is something that will always naturally happen in the game, right? You know, the fact that we've able to like sort of, you know, stave it off for as long as we have, and the way that we've positioned it is quite good. So the thing I like about RuneScape is that if I stop playing today and come back in 10 years, that I know a Scythe is still going to be a Scythe, a Shadow is still going to be a Shadow, a T-Bow is still going to be a T-Bow. Maybe there's like the Super Scythe or the Super Bow or the super fucking Staff that's a little bit better. But like I feel like they do a really good job PvM wise. Around power creep and stuff like that. I think that there's some things, like the reason I like the Spade, the demonic digger, is that it was one of the coolest upgrades that Jagex proposed that does not do damage. So the applications that I was thinking about using it in, it was chambers. I was like, oh yeah, cool. So if you take a learner in chambers and you're trying to explain what you need to do with pods, you don't have to like tell them, well, you have to, you know, do this and you have to, you know, get all the herbs. You can just skip like the herb part of them actually picking them and just like dig the whole fucking thing up. And it just speeds up the whole process. You know, it would speed up some times and stuff like that. It might make herb runs a little bit more enjoyable. So you can fucking any percent them, you know, but, you know, there's some takes like that No Monkey had, you know, coming from RuneScape 3, where he'd go, oh, well, you know, you've got your dailies and you got your weeklies and you got your monthlies, and then you'd be constantly doing those and everything like that. Whereas I agree, but we're not at that point yet. But the thing is, you don't want to set a precedent where you just have like a bunch of dailies where we get to that point. So I could see where his argument's coming from, and I do agree with him in some of those aspects. That you definitely don't want to like set this precedent where you have to do all these dailies before you even start playing the game. Like people have problems with birdhouse runs for that specific reason. The thing I think about is that like even like playing an Ironman, I am not 100% on my birdhouse runs, my herb runs, or whatever else. Right? The amount of players that I think that are 100% on it are very few and far between. And if they are, they're not there for very long. Like you'd have to be like, and I say this lovingly, like super have a little bit of a touch of the tism where you're doing it
A touch?
on the dot.
I don't know
Dude,
about.
okay. Megatism. If you're doing it on the
Thank you.
dot every
And you're
if you do it
probably
on the
not
dot,
really. That's probably what you're actually enjoying about the game. You're not looking at like doing this for PvM. It's just no. I'm just playing the game to skill. Like I like gaining XP. I like doing my. You just. Those the people that are really locked in have no real desire to start like PvM with it. It's literally for the fun of the grind and number go up and like just I want to make a
yeah.
bunch of fucking potions later, like that sounds fun.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you look at it from an IMF perspective, you don't really care about the GP when it comes to Snape Grass, right? And I mean, like, if we looked at the Snape Grass for mains and stuff like that, cheaper prayer potions aren't necessarily a bad thing. Because you typically will move on pretty quickly to super restores, because they're just better in every way. Prayer potions are just kind of like normal, things. If they're a bit cheaper for new players, then I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I could be wrong. It could like fracture the whole economy and like the world would end. But that's just like my thoughts. Maybe I'll be stepping on someone that's like, dude, my prayer potion locked money making series is going to be doomed.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that like just kind of circle back. Jagex does a really good job at keeping everything in check. I know that if I stopped playing the game for 10 years, that my account will still be fucking stacked if I just pick it up wherever I leave it off, right? Versus like if you've ever played something like WoW, it's like I've played a bit of WoW here and there. And going from one expansion to the next, for example, I was playing Legion and then going into, I forget what the next one was called. I think it was like Battle for Azeroth, like having like all this like really cool gear that I worked hard to get, and then it just be like superseded by something shit, like something you get from a shitty quest and like one of the new zones. It's never a feels good moment like that kind of level of progression where it becomes worthless when the new X pack comes out. Um, which is always like something that I guess like I could um really appreciate about RuneScape and how well they do it essentially.
Yeah.
Like I think that the power creep is in a really good spot. I mean, I think that I don't know the math behind it. I feel like the shadow is something that people are overly cautious about, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people say it would be if we just kind of like let it be stronger. But again, I'm not like a mathematician. I don't know the numbers. I'm sure someone could show me the numbers. Well, it's like, if you were to hit General Grado with the Shadow, if it was allowed to have like X amount more thing and it wasn't capped in anywhere, like you're going to be killing it 3 seconds faster. It's like, okay, that might be a bad thing. Does it actually matter? And it's like, does it matter when you come to things like Whisperer? When you look at like things like the speed time, does it matter with things like raids? Like, what if we were to put it into like theoretical practice, right? What would actually happen? I'm not too sure. So I think that's usually the biggest thing. Like for example, the Shadow's in a spot right now. Like I'm a big TOA enjoyer. I like a bit of TOA. Like where extra magic damage percentage doesn't actually matter anymore because it's capped. So you just don't bring like a ring anymore. You just like camp the light bearer or camp like an altar or whatever else, depending on what like invocations you're doing and what you're looking to achieve. But like you will cap out with the new shoes and everything else and new gloves. With a shadow, you cannot do any more damage, which maybe that's a good thing. But if I'm hitting hundreds on Warden, that'd be a pretty fucking cool feeling too. Like I can hit 100 on Olm with a T-bow. I could hit pretty close to 100 on Verzik, with a scythe pretty consistently. I don't actually know how much the scythe can hit. It's like 88 or something like that.
It's fucking nuts.
It's
Isn't the
high.
rarity of hitting like a max scythe though like a 1 in like 5,000 or 10,000 or something crazy?
Oh yeah, it's nuts. I think I've swung it like fucking at least once or twice, and it's always like a yes. You just feel like a fucking you're on demon time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, so like I'm in the personal belief that I think mega res should feel powerful, and I think that people probably over exaggerate how powerful, um, you know, like a little bit of power creep in that direction would be. But I think it's good that we have that temperament where there's people that are like very steadfast about kind of holding back the game. It's like
Mm,
power progression, so that we
yeah,
kind of find like
I'm
the
in
right
that camp.
balance. So like,
Yeah.
I think it should be stronger. The people that think it should be weaker. And I think that because we have these conflicting opinions that we hit the sweet spot. So I'm probably wrong and they're probably wrong, but what we get is probably right.
Yeah, and it almost pushes people to more extremes in the polarization. It's like because we keep striking that middle ground, people go farther and farther and farther of like, okay, I want it to be really power creepy, and then the people like me are just like, just raise it up by like one stat, and that's all we need. I always bring up the example of just prims. From dragon boots to prims, it was literally 2 accuracy and 1 melee strength, and it was like compared to dragon boots to prims, it was like here's these boots that are 100k, and here's some that are 25 mil, and all
Yeah.
you needed it to be was just best in slot, and that's all it takes to have something fucking super outrageously expensive.
Yeah, no, I remember I had a dude that didn't want to raid with me once because I could afford prims, but I told him it was a waste of time. And I was like, dude, I don't want to fucking spend money on prims. I'm saving for something else. It's like, dude, but you can buy prims. It's better. And I'm like, it doesn't give me a max hit, man. Like,
Yep. And in a lot of
uh,
situations, it's. I mean, at least prims have that 2 accuracy, but it's like in most cases, like it's actually just it is doing nothing to your DPS. Like, it's crazy.
yeah, no, it's a lot
But
of
it's about
times. Well, I mean,
looks. You know, you want to look like a fucking badass. Let's be
look,
honest.
if you look like you do a lot of damage, then you will do a lot of damage. It's all
Exactly.
about manifestation, baby. Where
Yeah.
but that's one of the main reasons why I hate the way the new Avernic treads look, but I love what they do in practice because boots felt like such a nothing slot. And I mean, there was a little while ago there was like that big thing where it's like they were adding magic percentage to the fucking eternal boots. And it was like, well, now you got to bring a 9-way, for the shadow to do maximum damage. I mean, and all this fucking, shit, right? And I did the 9-way. It was fucking miserable. It's like, I am a sideways switcher. I am not going from top down, dude. You can fucking lick my nuts. Like,
Yep.
for it to make more sense. So I think that boots being one of these things that it's just like they have a best in slot that fits all playstyles is really good for like just like simplified switches. Like an 8-way is perfect. If you want to do 8-way switches at whatever you're doing, you should be rewarded for it. But if you're doing like 9-ways and your inventory is like all fucked, like it's like just never feels good.
What are your thoughts on there was an idea that I actually kind of liked. It was a sort of tethering uh, idea that you could do. So basically, what it does is you can tether a single-handed weapon with an offhand. So, for example, you could be able to tether like a whip and a defender together, and it becomes one item. So instead of, when you're switching between a 2-handed weapon and a 1-handed weapon, it doesn't add that 9-way switch whenever you have to re-equip your Avernic or some mage offhand or whatever the fuck. It just becomes a tethered item that becomes one inventory slot. And so it becomes basically a 2-handed weapon.
When I was kind of going through my thought process, that was the only thing I was thinking about is the fucking Avernic,
Yeah,
or
no,
the.
so,
It's
but
like I think that could be. I guess like it. Like I'll preface like this. I don't think like anyone. I don't think it could happen. I think that it's one of those ideas that might make it feel like it's like I don't know if it's like a RuneScape 3 type thing, but I feel like a lot of people
mhm.
would draw that conclusion, and I feel like based on that, it probably won't ever happen, but I do understand the premise, right? I think that it would be good because, like, I mean, like again, like an Avernic is a 9-way switch. If you're doing like full boots, full everything, well, not full boots, but like full everything, like it should work out to like an 8-way plus Avernic, which is 9. Which
Yeah.
again,
And
it's one of those things that. But the thing is, you don't really use an Avernic anymore. Like for like, I mean, at max level, highest gear and everything else, it's like Scythe, Shadow, T-Bow. I mean, the only place that you really use an Avernic for anymore is is next where it doesn't matter, and Toa where most people don't even really want to do it. So like that's the only thing I can think about. So if
Yeah,
it was like
and
a bigger problem,
there would be some issues with the tethering anyway, which is like, let's just say you had like a Dragon Warhammer and a rapier or something. Who the fuck's using a rapier? But like just you'd have to now have two Avernix because you'd have to like tether both if you wanted to keep those to be individual items. You know what I mean? Because like the tethering process would be like not permanent necessarily, but maybe you could like only do it at the bank or something, or like something where it's like now it's locked in there. So like good luck having your Avernic with the other weapon and the single-handed weapon that's in your inventory. It is just an idea simply, and I'm not necessarily advocating for it. I just like to hear how people would think, but I am with you where it's like, yeah, this would be very foreign and people would be like, what the fuck is this? This is not an issue. But they came out with the Avernic treads because literally like gamer, I mean, now we talked about it on my podcast of like, I remember BC Guppy was mentioning having like the glove, the Thanos fucking glove that just has all your power, all your like rings or whatever in one glove slot, or something just absolutely out of control extreme. But like the boot situation was something we had talked about as well. Like we just don't like 9-way switches. We want that sort of convenience factor. Like there's something that's nice about not having to do a 9-way. So that's where the whole tether idea even comes from.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the thing I think about like with it is pretty foreign and stuff like that, but it's not necessarily a bad idea. I mean, like things that make it easier to plan. Like I mean, like an 8-way just feels good because 8 across, 8 down, no matter what way you slice it, it's still going to feel kind of good. I think that like humans are naturally like pattern seeking, and things that disrupt that, like a 9-way, it's always going to be cumbersome. I guess convenience factor. I figured out that, you know, based on something that I did on my hardcore, I got really excited about like the napkin that you get from Yama, and I didn't actually know at the time that it only works in Yama's domain, or the chasm, the shasm, dude. I found out that Twitch chat was just like, dude, it only works there. I was like, fuck, really? So, dude, I'm a big proponent for the gnome cube. Okay, give me the gnome cube. I don't want to start by. I want my cycle to be nice and easy. I remember, I don't remember, it was pretty recent you did a video where you were sort of talking about the regression of skillers and stuff like that, because some fucking basement dweller has done it.
Yeah.
The fucking
It's in my gem mining video, that little clip I posted of it. Yeah.
But yeah, like some fucking basement dweller has done it the hard way, so everyone has to do it the hard way. It's like, dude, what kind of entitled piece of shit do you have to be to think that, like, because you suffered, everyone else does? If that was the case, like, you know, everyone would be living in the dark ages still. It's like, well, I slaved away in the field, so why should you get a fucking like carbine fucking thing that picks all the weight and shit like that for you, right? You know, yeah. I dug by hand, so why should you get a shovel?
It's even beyond that, where it's like, dude, we understand like objectively this, like there's people just don't want to break their wrist doing things, and like why can't we just reduce that? It's genuinely just a more pleasant experience. And again, like I brought up in that clip the example of Duke, of just like literally without apology, Jagex just made a complete revamp of Duke to make it so it's not dreadful for a lot of people. I actually liked old Duke. I got used to it enough where I enjoyed it, but I can fully concede that, like, yeah, vast majority of people did not like the whole every single fucking kill, go and do a prep for it. And
dude, we didn't know about the sorry.
Yeah, that's the last. Nobody fucking knew about that, which just makes it way more enjoyable. If you're trying to do Duke without that, it was horrible back then.
It was a good rhythm, like, sort of thing. Like, you had your tile that you'd press the bark on and you click on the thing, and like because it's like a smooth motion, you're already back out and stuff like that. The only thing that would have made that better is if it was like better positioning with the vent, like the fucking side vents and stuff like that, where like you didn't have to like step one tile out. After you collect it, it would have been like a very fluid motion. It would have felt really good, but I don't know if that would have made it not work the way that it currently works.
No, it still would have worked that way. It's just, but the whole point of it is like they have done such a good job with PvM over the years to iron out those annoying kinks. Yama is like the smoothest fight ever. Doom, what I've heard, I haven't even done Doom yet. I'm actually going to be starting it quite soon, is it's just everyone says like they're ironing out all these kinks. It's still a difficult challenge, but it's like it's smooth. When you get it down, it's fucking smooth. With PV or with skilling, it's just like, god damn, like just clean this up. Let's clean it up and make it like nice and pleasant. Why are we, I don't know. And
Like,
there's, yeah, go for it.
yeah, I was just thinking, it's like, because I've been doing a little bit of maxing on the side. It's like, I'm always going to opt for the AFK. Look, if I did not have like a remote job, I could not be a max player. Like I would be doing like, the things on the side or whatever else I can do while I'm working. Like right now I'm fletching. I'm not like 100% paying attention to it. Like I recently just did crafting. Crafting was pretty chill. Basically, I'm just doing crafting all over again, but instead of fucking cutting gems, I'm cutting bows. I think that like the problem with skilling kind of like in my mind stems from the fact that we have really slow rates and stuff like that. And like there's not everything has an AFK option. As an example, like agility, it's like stupidly slow. It's brain dead. It's not like particularly fun. I mean, sure, we have sepulcher, but like I think that people that say sepulcher is fun, it's like sure, it's fun, but it still kind of feels like cope because the rates are just so slow. Like
it's fun once you have it down and once you're 92 and above. If you're below 92, it's just not fun because floor 5 is the fun part of it, in my opinion. And,
gotcha. I'm 88, so I'm not.
Oh god, yeah. If you're doing any before 92, it's just like this is fucking boring still because you're just getting to right to the edge of like when it starts getting fun, and you have to keep repeating floors 1, 2, and 3, where it's just like god, this is like the boring stuff.
Yeah, like, and I mean, like the alternative is you just run rooftops and stuff like that, which it's like, I think that most skills like need to be kind of like sailing as an example, quite controversial. But like, outside of my opinion of sailing itself, I think the rates need to be right. Because if they just make another slow fucking skill that's like a pain in the ass to fucking do it, it's just like, just kill me, man. Like, fuck's sake. Yeah. Like, I think that 200k minimum at like semi-efficient, like at like a semi-decent level, that's like relatively AFK. It's like the sweet spot. Like,
I like comparing it to hunter rates, where like the very max sweaty hunters that are going to be doing black chins with an alt or something are getting like 300k XP an hour at 99, and hunter rumors at around 90 plus is like 200k if you're just going at a good pace and it's not like the sweatiest thing of all time. You're just kind of enjoying yourself. And then if you really want to just AFK, you can get something like 130k up in the 90s or something, just like really AFK. I kind of like that sort of gist. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, not everything has to be like prayer where you get like a million fucking XP an hour just by going out to the thing. And I'm pretty sure that's not how they intended it to work, because they I guess they weren't really designing around people one-ticking skills back then. But like I don't think it has to be like that where it's like this insane thing anymore. But I feel like if you just make a fucking slow skill for the sake of it being like, you can't, do something like sailing. If I'm going to do sailing over and over, and I mean, I have no strong opinions either way. I'm not like one of those big sailing haters or sailing enjoyers or whatever else. I didn't personally play the beta because it's just not my game. Like I don't really give a fuck about skilling. So it's like, do I want to subject myself to it for that long? Because I will eventually want to max. And how tedious is it going to be maxing? Like, as an example, I'm doing fletching right now. It's slow because I'm not breaking my wrist doing darts. But it's like I'm just about to hit 96, like kind of fucking base, just sitting back, chilling, chatting. The same thing will happen when I do herb lore. The same thing will happen when I do, when I do mining and smithing, like just kind of like chiller skills, kind of slow, but getting it done. But then there's like obviously like rune crafting and agility where I'm just like, fuck. it's just so brutal and feeling insurmountable. But I mean, like you just do it and you get it done, and that's how I assume you max.
Yeah.
I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's the mindset shift of just locking in and be like, all right, this is the next thing. Just do it. Because yeah, rune crafting for me is like my lowest skill. I'm just like, but I'm kind of right now. I'm kind of banking. I'm kind of banking like blocks for the teleport tabs because there are some Arceus teleport tabs I want just locked and loaded. But at the same time, you can actually. I don't know if you've done Zaya RC ever, but you can actually just bank the blocks and then go through the abyss and get like fucking 300k runecrafting XP an hour after it's all banked, of course, which is slow as balls. But yeah.
I did not know you could do that. That's
Yeah.
used to be. I have I'm 83 rune crafting at the moment, so
Mm.
I think I tried to do um the ZMI, but fuck. I think I'm just gonna do Guardians of the Rift all the way to 99. Like, I'm just gonna lock in, dude. I'm just gonna get it done. Try and like get Stream to sit there with me for 10 hours. And we'll do that 100 times, and then eventually we'll just be 99. That's the current goal. I don't think I'm going to achieve that. I think I think if I say I'm going live and doing runecrafting on my main for 10 hours, I don't think it's going to be a very good stream, but we will see.
What do you think Jagex should be focused on when it comes to updates? Like if the game was kind of up to you, like what would you want Jagex to be focused on?
So the thing I think about is I spend a lot of time in the high level, PvM, like the raid community, right? Like I'm a raider full on basically. Like so I personally would want more raids, but is that what's good for the game? The problem that I think with a raid, like with creating new raid, like raids 4 like has the potential to be like the next Tob or like the next, like, I think Toa's good, but a lot of people disagree with me on that. Of the next Toa, right? Where it's like, are they going to? Honestly, I don't even think I think the hardest part about creating a raid would probably be, actually creating the rewards for it. I think it's probably maybe one of the hardest. Where it's like, what can we do to actually doesn't break the game fundamentally or ruin something or whatever else? How does this interact with this other thing? I think that raids is something that I would personally enjoy. I think we have enough, I guess, skilling options. I think they just need to be refined to be like nicer, like quality of life. Where it just feels a little bit better to do. For example, like Winter Todd, do we benefit from having like stopping what we're doing from like it being too cold or whatever else? I recently did that on my Ironman just to get my 10 magic logs. It's like, and I also got it to 99, pretty AFK with the regen bracelet and the HP cape. And that was pretty like chill, but it's just like, it's still like just annoying rather than actually like making the challenge hard. You fletch and then a second later it's the cycle's broken and you have to do that over and over and over again, like to the point where a plugin's almost necessary to keep track of it. Be like, am I actually fletching right now because I've just clicked off after a second? I think skilling as a concept should be very rhythmic in nature, because it's quite if you're going to be doing it for long periods of time, if you're going to fucking fuck me off with a bunch of long XP rates, don't make the grind cringe. Like the same thing, I have the same philosophy with bosses, right? Like if like a boss has a really cringe mechanic, like for example, I think a good example would be Vorkath, right? Vorkath is a semi AFK boss, except they have the bomb that he shoots up and will insta kill you if you're not paying attention. Is that good or bad for Vorkath? I would argue probably bad, because it's just like it just breaks the rhythm that you can like watch like a show on the side. Like it's not a hard boss. It's just like you have to look, otherwise you just die. And it's not like a rewarding mechanic, it's just annoying. So like I think that the game should go on like I guess a more rhythmic approach, right? Like if it doesn't become too easy. Oh shit, I just leveled up. Fuck yeah, dude. We just got fucking 96 fletching.
GZ. I hit 92 mining earlier. Yeah.
Okay, wait, GZ. Yeah, I think I like more rhythmic approaches to like the game, where it's like, okay, I've got a relative idea of how I'm going to do this encounter. As long as the game's not cringe, then I should be able to do it pretty easily. But as soon as they start adding mechanics that are just not fun to deal with or like to grind long term, it's like, Another good example would be like not being able to damage Vedion or Calvarion when the dogs are spawned. Like
Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Yeah, that shit's ass.
It's yeah, like you've just swung and then like it's the same tick. He's just like done that. It's like it's not very fun. Like it doesn't like a lot of the things they're doing, like they did with Next, was like the overkill. Like anything that mitigates your damage where you're doing damage is really fucking annoying. Like Next was really big on that with like you'd Ruby Bolt, and it would re, and you'd be like, fuck yes. Oh no, he's got 60% health, so it did nothing, and you think to yourself, fuck. Things like that, really annoying. But I guess like what they should focus on is trying to make they should definitely be capitalizing on all these new players from all the WoW streamers that are coming in. They should definitely be trying to make the experiences better. There's a lot of things that we put up with because we grew up with it and stuff like that, and it's just the reality of it. But there's a lot of things that will turn players away if they have to do like some bullshit grind with some fucking shit mechanic or whatever else. It's very hard to name them off the top of my head thinking about it. But you know, skilling, I think there's a lot of things that feel stupidly long for no reason. PvM, there's a lot of encounters where, like, as example, Sarachnis was just fucking lame until you got Arania boots. Because you'd just be frozen in place. People were using Ring of Stone tech to do what Arania boots now do.
The stoner tech. It's fucking goated.
The stoner tech, dude, legit. Like now, Sarachnis has become one of my favorite bingo bosses. Please go get like a fucking Jar of Eyes or whatever it is, or like a Sarachnis cudgel. It's like, bosh, I'm getting the Arania boots and I'm getting the Blood Fury out and I'm AFKing it. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for endgame PvM, being able to have some bosses like Scarius, which is like has a pet that introduces you to stuff in the game, but you can cheese it as a main and make the grind to get the pet or whatever not that like shit. So I want Raids 4 to be like basically top 2. I want the rewards from that to feel good. And I think that a lot of people in the high level community want that too. You know, at least the raiding community, right? Because that doesn't necessarily have to mean the highest of the high. It could just mean like your average raider that's doing a chambers with the boys on a weekend, right? Or TOB with the boys, or maybe they're getting the squad together for a bit of TOB, a bit of a TOB session. I mean, like, you know, when I was starting to learn PvM, one of my favorite experiences was just, you know, me and a couple of the boys on Discord would just have a couple drinks. You know, there used to be, we call it an RBT over in Australia, a random breath test. There'd be an RBT outside of TOA. It'd be like, if this cunt's too fucking drunk, we're not going in. Which was it was some of the most fun I've ever had playing RuneScape. Just getting the boys together and just having a good time. And I feel like that's what a lot of people aspire to, and want to achieve. I mean, like, you know, think about how many people are like, man, I can't wait to do the hard bosses, and I can't wait to do raids with like my friends and stuff like that. Like, how cool is that going to be? I think the most important thing is have like a lot of content right at the end that's grindable and something to like strive for. Would be good. Mind you, a lot of it's wishful thinking. I'm sure they'll get around to it. Like if they just made endgame update after endgame update, I think it would be, you know, it will kind of lose its luster a little bit.
Yep.
Whereas they focus around like, oh yeah, 100%. Like there's been a lot of endgame content recently with Yama and Doom, and like it is exhausting. Like it's like, fuck, like I gotta learn how to do this boss at another high level, and it's like, do I want to? Like, oh, but I've been really enjoying playing my Ironman, which is thing. Like I'm probably in a very unique and privileged position where I've just been like, okay, yeah, cool, I'm gonna be an Ironman now, and everything at the low level now feels like big again. So, that's my current perspective, which will probably change. But yeah, I think that what they're doing is probably not a bad thing. And I know there's always going to be people that say, well, Jagex should be doing this, Jagex should be doing that. Jagex realistically should just follow the numbers. How many new players are coming in? Cater to them a little bit, make their life a little bit easier. You know, in some areas, you know, maybe do something cool that teaches them something about the game. For the late game players, because those are the people that well, they keep the bonds going, right? You know, most end game players are probably supporting their supporting the game by all the gold they get from raids, just by buying bonds off the GE that people pay for. So keeping them happy and keeping them engaged, because there's a lot of people in the time that I've been here that just quit because it's like, I like RuneScape, but what else is there to do? It's very hard to, I guess, find that balancing act. But I think Jagex is doing a relatively good job, as well as they can.
They're like on point with a lot of things, and the fact that they still have these nice quality of life updates that really they wouldn't need to do, but they still are focusing on the wider player base instead of just being like, ooh, our game's fucking huge now, let's just keep pumping out a bunch of new content. We obviously could fucking talk for another 3 hours if we wanted, but Adsy, I want to wrap things up right here and just congratulate you, one, on this video that you're about to be uploading very soon. And look, I was able to take a little sneak peek. It looks like a banger. Wish you the best of luck on that, and also just finding your kind of niche in the old school YouTube scene. Go check him out. I think you'll enjoy his new stuff, and when his video does drop, if you're watching and it has dropped, definitely go check it out, because it is sort of like that podcast style sort of video where he's interviewing other creators. But Adsy, any last words from you?
It's gonna be a heater. It's gonna be out, and hopefully, the next like 2 or 3 days. So please come check it out. I know that you guys that listen to the Sae Bae cast will probably enjoy it. Sae Bae, the GOAT, thank you very much for having me on. I'm very grateful and appreciative for giving me the platform.
Much love, and thank you all for listening. If you guys want to support the podcast, there are 10 full-length exclusive episodes you guys can check out by becoming a member or a subscriber or a patron for just $2. Support the cast. I'm so fucking appreciative of all you that are supporting, so many of you now, and we've seen a lot of growth over just the past month. So thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.